Hey, all you marks out there, it's your boy Primo. On this episode 24, we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite Impact wrestlers. We're also going to talk about the latest happenings in pro wrestling today, which includes the most exciting events that have transpired over the past week that are the most exciting things that have happened all year. Trust me. Also, after this episode, make sure to stay tuned for a special interview with Santino Bros graduate and Nightmare Factory graduate Ishmael Vaughn. Don't miss out on this episode of Sit Down Marks.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode number 24 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. Man, thank you, everybody, for tuning in here to check out the episode here. We got a lot of wrestling to cover, boys. Have you guys awakened from your wrestling coma?
No.
I have had my fill of wrestling. I have been filled to the brim. And here we are, 6 months in of Sit Down Marks, episode 24, to talk about the most exciting week in the 2021 calendar year.
Yes, it was. I think it was the most exciting week in the 1997 to 2021 calendar year.
I definitely had my most exciting Friday in a long time. You know, I replayed that, 15, 20 minutes Punk was out there for over and over and over. We're going to talk about it later. But
you mean the Jade Cargill / Kiera Hogan match, right? Because
of course.
I played that over and over, and I was like, this is just keeps getting better.
Yeah, it really does, man. But, the weekend came with the feels. It came with the emotion. I fell back in love. Not that I ever fell out of love with wrestling, but I was reassured this weekend of why I love wrestling. I know you guys are with me on that.
Go ahead, JJ.
That kind of is an understatement for me, which we'll get into. But yes,
Crying Guy is my best friend, always and forever. If he ever wants to come on the podcast, he always has a seat here on the show.
I tell you what, man.
Crying Guy is all of us. I just wasn't crying.
I was there. I wasn't there, but I was watching it.
Sure.
You know, the Crying Guy was crying, but I was on the edge of my recliner like this, on the edge, hands like on my face. My wife comes out just in time to see him walk out. I'm having full body chills. Those chills didn't go away even after he walked out. Yeah. I had chills the rest of that show, and it invoked emotions from me because I've been a lifelong fan, and it really brought that wrestling kid fan out of me. Like it reignited the spark, I guess you could say.
AJ, real quick, your feeling about Friday.
So I was sitting on my front porch. I had my laptop on. I had my headphones in. And what Primo just said, like when that music hit, like my goosebumps, they got up. And then there was like that 10 seconds.
Now, just thinking about it again.
That 10 seconds between his music hitting and him actually walking out. Like I thought for sure, like MJF was going to walk out or something.
They did. They didn't make us wait. We got it right off the bat.
Yep, right off the bat. And then after he came out, my goosebumps got goosebumps.
Look,
and then
I could about show you mine right now. Man. We're talking about it, and I've gotten them. Look. I mean, wrestling is alive and well, folks. Whether they like it or they don't, man, we're here, baby.
I almost threw my laptop. That's how excited. Because I went to like jump up, and I had to like. Kind of do a dive to catch my laptop, and then I was holding my laptop like up in the air like that. Like I was a.
You were holding your laptop up like the boombox on Say Anything.
Yes. I was a blathering child. For 20 minutes, and it was the greatest feeling in the world.
It was, man.
And for anybody, and I've seen people that say because obviously all of us wrestling fans, true wrestling fans. That makes us emotional. It makes us like in a good way. It gives us full body chills. Sure. For anybody that doesn't understand that or doesn't think or thinks that might be stupid, it's because you're not a real fan. You're not passionate about something. So,
it almost makes me feel bad, like not bad for non-wrestling fans, but I was trying to after I kind of watched it 30 times and I was trying to absorb what it meant and everything, because it does to wrestling fans. This is as all equated to being a Cubs fan, this was better than the Cubs winning the World Series, and I am a Chicago Cubs diehard fan.
Sure.
And this was better. That's how much this means to marks like us.
Yeah.
It was that important, and it was that big, and I was trying to compare something to non-wrestling fans, the way it could make them invoke so much emotion in them, and I couldn't come up with anything. Maybe music, live music, seeing your favorite band for the first time ever, maybe, but that really doesn't come close. I don't know. I couldn't come up with anything.
My quick description, I'm going to get the show started here, is I always say this to people, and I say, okay, imagine your biggest passion of a sports team or whatever you like in life, okay? Let's say you really enjoyed a certain aspect of that team, whether it be a player or whatever it is that helped your passion stay in tune for that whole time while you watched it. And then, all of a sudden that player goes away, or that aspect of it goes away. And you think, man, that was really cool. I love that. It was awesome. And you kind of put it out of your head that, hey, that's probably the last time I'm ever going to see them. It's crazy. But in this great world of wrestling that we have, they can always come back. And when somebody as big as Punk comes back, and that we're going to be able to see him wrestle again, and just what he gave to wrestling, just the fact that he came back, it renews your faith and love in wrestling again. And if that player that you talked about or loved, it would renew your faith in that team or whatever you loved aspect about it. It's kind of, it's kind of the same thing. So, you cry when your team wins Super Bowls. We cry when wrestlers come back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I didn't cry. You cried.
I didn't cry. Still got all that coming up here. But, man, let's get this show started, man. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here and listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Prime Music, Audible, and SportzWire Online Radio at 6:45 Eastern on Friday. So, well, boys, let me properly introduce you guys here to the masses. Let's start off with my co-host from the land of the rattlesnake, Mr. Team Extreme, editor and producer of the show. Welcome, Mr. Sit Down Marks Trophy champion at the moment. We're going to check and see if he's keeping it later on in the show. But right now, your current reigning defending SmackDown Marks Trophy champion. What up, Primo?
What is up? Glad to be here another week.
Champ.
How about that? You guys are acknowledging me now. Let's see if you'll acknowledge me later. We'll see how the results came down.
Yeah, we know how the results came down.
The other host of the show, the only babyface left on the panel, straight out of your mama's kitchen, assistant editor and producer of the show. What's up, AJ? Welcome, brother.
So there's a mosquito in here right now that's really kind of messing with me. I hope it's a heel mosquito.
He bites you right in the middle of your forehead.
Just lands right here.
What wrestler gimmick was close to a mosquito? Did we ever have one?
Marty the Moth?
Sting?
Marty the Moth. That's the answer I wanted right there. Well done.
That was stupid heel mosquito. Look, he's flying right here. I can see him.
That's
great. And yes, he's a heel.
I want to make sure you guys stay tuned. After the podcast, my interview with Monster Factory and Santino Brothers graduate Ishmael Vaughn. Had a really awesome talk with him. Talks about going through his training, where he lives now.
Nightmare Factory, right?
Yeah, Nightmare Factory and Santino Brothers. He graduated from both. So awesome interview there with him. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the podcast. That interview is coming up. So, yeah, crazy weekend, man. But let's get this thing started, boys. What do you say, Primo? What happened this day in wrestling history and some birthdays?
This day in wrestling history, let me talk to you. August 25th.
Whose game is it?
Primo's game, baby. 1991. Sting defeats Stunning Steve Austin.
Wow.
In the finals of a one-night tournament to win the vacated WCW United States Championship.
Nice.
The title was vacated when Lex Luger won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship at the Great American Bash a month earlier.
Yep, because back then you couldn't be a champ.
Right, no champs.
No champs.
Oh, you had to relinquish the lesser.
The Primos of the world didn't exist yet.
They didn't.
1997. Arn Anderson retires and offers his enforcer position in the Four Horsemen to Kurt Hennig.
Not just any spot. My spot. Classic promo from Arn Anderson. Probably one of his best ever, man. That one always comes to mind. I'm glad you brought this up, Primo, because I actually seen this today on Twitter and listened to it. You know, I love that, man. I got a little bit of chills from that too, man, because I remember how big that was then, you know, and, you know, it was Arn offering not just a spot in the Horseman, giving Kurt his spot. That's big, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff. That's legendary stuff right there, man. Legendary stuff.
Legendary, like the AA Spinebuster.
Yes.
2002, one of the greatest SummerSlams, if not the greatest SummerSlam of all time. The return of HBK when he battled against Triple H and Brock versus Rock.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, it's not a patch on SummerSlam 2021. Am I right, fellas? No, it was pretty classic. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, nice cards.
Wrestling birthdays today. We had 1992, Kylie Ray from Chicago, Illinois.
Kylie Ray, how
92?
I can't speak. Yeah.
The mixer.
Rewind. Try again.
30?
29.
Look at us with our math skills.
29.
Impact wrestler Kylie Ray.
1971, the late Mike Lockwood, a.k.a. Crash Holly.
Crash Holly. Yeah.
Wait, Crash Holly's dead?
You didn't know that?
He died like in 03.
Yeah, quite a long time ago.
Wow, I know. I might have known it at one point.
It was an overdose.
Wow.
Yep. I love Crash Holly, man. He a nice little sidekick there to Bob Holly. Old Spark Pluggy.
Sparky.
Did you say Hardcore Holly was his sidekick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stomped a mud hole in that one.
What about Molly Holly? Before she was Mighty Molly. 1942, our final birthday of the day.
Way back.
Ivan Koloff.
The Russian Bear. Man, that's so funny you say that because I've been looking. I might be buying one of his T-shirts next because I've seen one. You remember the classic picture of Ivan's face? He's got the cuts from the razor blades on his head. He's got the USSR red bandana.
Oh yeah.
There's a shirt out there that just has that face on it, man. I've been this is probably a sign that I should buy it. So.
I think so, yeah.
Russian Bear, man. Ivan Koloff. Man.
Do they have bears in Russia?
Dirty heels. Yes, they're polar.
And that's this day in wrestling history.
It makes sense.
I'm assuming. Welcome everybody watching on Twitch. Thanks everybody. Undead Leverjack. Welcome to the show. Here we go today, man. We got a big show here today. Of course, we're going to talk about a lot of the wrestling that's happened over the last week. I want to thank everybody listening all across the podcast platforms. So, all right, man, let's get this recap underway. We're going to talk about everything that happened each day, just a brief synopsis of everything, of course, and talk about the some other things that are going on. So, yeah, CM Punk, AJ, AEW, Dynamite, the setup for Punk to come to Dynamite, to Rampage on Friday. So we're going to get over AEW Dynamite on Wednesday last week.
So I watched Dynamite, I think last Thursday, and then I actually forgot what happened because of all of the things that transpired on Friday. Completely forgot that AEW Dynamite took place, one, and two, that it was actually a pretty good show.
That was so long ago.
Really? I know it does. It feels like a month ago, but
completely completely forgot what happened on the show. I had to go back through my notes, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is a pretty good episode."
Yeah, big thing happened.
So kickoff: John Moxley and Eddie Kingston get attacked by 2.0, and Danny Garcia won. Danny Garcia is everywhere. Primo, you talked about it.
Daniel Garcia, yeah,
he's
everywhere. I've been everywhere, man.
I've been everywhere. Also, I think it's finally time to learn 2.0's names. It's Matt Lee and Jeff Parker. They're doing so well as
which one's the loud one?
Matt Lee.
Matt Lee, yeah.
You want a piece of me?
Yeah. He's great. I love him.
So these guys are getting over.
They are.
I'm like, I need to learn their names finally. Matt Lee and Jeff Parker.
Yeah.
He's so spunky. He's
spunky. He's got moxie.
Yeah.
By the way, I've seen somewhere Daniel Garcia's wrestling Minoru Suzuki somewhere. I'll have to look it up, but yeah, that's how all over the world this guy is. I think out in San Francisco, somewhere out there, man.
Insane. He's all over the place, and he's proven himself too.
In the SCI, man, kid's taking off.
Yeah, he was awesome. I thought for sure he was going to win that tournament. Anyways, so this all leads to a tag team turmoil match between those guys, Sting, Darby Allin, and this is Sting's first match on TNT, and they kept talking about, I think it was like 20 plus years that his first match ever, or first match in that long. He did. He was awesome. Like,
sure. Yeah.
I mean, yes, he's a 62-year-old man, but still, he was doing stinger splashes. He hit some stinger death drops.
Hey, you don't have to be young to do a splash and a deathlock, man. But when Stinger does it, I love to see it.
Yeah, he still gets elevation on that stinger splash.
I mean, how many people can do a double scorpion deathlock?
Yeah, scorpion, and then a double scorpion.
Only the master. Only the master.
Yeah.
So there was up till this point, like I just popped all week basically for various things. The first big one happened when they hit that double power bomb on Sting through that table, and Sting no soul and stood right up. Huge pop. Like, that was the first one of the week for me. I'm like, oh well, that's not going to get beat for me.
Right.
That's sick.
I don't know things.
I forgot all about that.
I loved it so nuts. The crowd went nuts. I went nuts. It was great. Then to end the match, double Scorpion Death Drop, double Scorpion Death Lock, 2.0
Death Drop Lock.
Death Drop Lock. It was great. What a great match. Sting is back and looks great. Like, he's obviously, again, he's an old man. He gets discounts at Bob Evans and stuff, but
how cool.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, how cool for 2.0 just released as Ever Rise from NXT not too long ago. And they're working with Sting and Darby Allin.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And John Moxley.
And Eddie Kingston,
Yeah. On Dynamite already.
And they're killing it. They're doing great.
Oh,
as a new heel tag team, they're fantastic.
Yeah, they're loudmouth Jersey gimmicks, but it's funny. It's like, oh, we've seen it before. Yeah, but they're doing it different, and it's funny the way they're coming off. Like, I was legit disappointed when they got released, but happy again when they got picked up.
Yeah, I'm glad they got released because
you want a piece of me?
Great. Up next, Sammy Guevara versus Shawn Spears. It's a match that happened. Oh, Sammy got engaged on Dark. Which was very cool, and then Shawn Spears kept referencing it throughout their match.
They'll say,
That's right. Before the match, he said he'll let her be on top.
Yeah.
And I was when he said that, I was like,
jokes to fire a feud up, huh?
I was like, you can't. I was like, Shawn Spears,
how dare you
kiss your mother with that mouth?
Be a gentleman, Shawn Spears. Go look at Sir Lance Archer.
They just got engaged.
Yeah.
You behave.
She's an innocent.
Boy.
Yeah. Let's get dirty. Sammy, come back and say something about Peyton.
Who won that match? Oh, Sammy won that match.
Yeah, Sammy.
Up next, I was so excited. My boy Dan Lambert was back, and he had Junior Dos Santos and Andrei Arlovsky. Is that how you say his name? I'm not an MMA guy.
Andrei Arlovsky.
Arlovsky, thank you. I'm not an MMA guy, so I don't really know.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him in the ring, I was like, wait, is that JDS? Mm-hmm. And Andre? Just chilling with him in the ring?
Yeah, just hanging out.
Back up.
But then...
Yes.
Then real killers in the ring with him.
But then stupid Sir Murderhawk ruined it again, and I got mad at Sir Murderhawk. I was like, go away and let Dan talk.
They would rip Lance Arthur's head off and shove it up his butt. Yes. They would do it so quickly. They're real heavyweights.
Luckily for Sir Lance, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page came out and kind of stopped that whole Sir Lance going into the ring. So I was glad to see Ethan Page back. Scorpio Sky still can do without.
Yeah, I like Ethan too. I hope he's got a singles push soon.
Yeah, I do too. Go away, Scorpio Sky. You're bad at things. Up next, Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. Amazing match. So Jungle Boy, he continues to impress every single time he's on TV.
Yep. Every time he's on TV, I just sit back and go, I called it, man. They're getting over with the music. And...
I think he needs new music. I hate that music.
And the more I listen to the music, I'm just like, this is so catchy.
I can't going anywhere now.
I can't get the Listerine commercial out of my head every time it comes on.
I know. I see Jungle Boy like flying across the jungle, like hanging onto a rope, like holding Listerine in one hand. Like,
see, I have like a Pavlovian response where I just want to go use mouthwash every time that music comes on. Yeah. So I don't like that. It bothers me. But their AEW is doing everything right with Jungle Boy. They're building him up. He looks great in every match he's in.
Is he AEW the champion by the end of 2022? Give me a point here.
No.
He's a champion.
Yeah, he's a champion. I bet.
Yeah. They put small titles on him. I'm talking big boy titles.
They'll be tag champs by.
Like he accidentally.
I think he might end up with the mid card title.
Yeah, the mid card TNT title.
Yeah,
I could see him finally beating Miro. Like I kind of hope that they start that program eventually, but I think they're going to give him a run with the tag belts first, Luchasaurus and
If they put some sort of gimmick on Jungle Boy later on, that's like a cash in type deal, like a Money in the Bank type deal. Watch out because he's gonna knock off somebody big and steal it, and
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, that'd be a fun angle.
Also, Brandon Cutler, because Luchasaurus is supposed to be a real dinosaur. So Brandon Cutler had the flair that he was distracting Luchasaurus with, like in Jurassic Park, and it was so funny.
Oh my god, it was, dude. I haven't seen it in days, but it's still funny to me thinking about it now.
So in kayfabe, Luchasaurus is an actual dinosaur.
Right.
Who gets distracted by movement. And that is the greatest thing in professional wrestling ever. Wrestling is so awesome.
It really is. Man. It really is. How many people were going, why does he have a flare at, so many people did not get that, I guarantee.
Yeah.
I was thinking, that's so genius. That is so good.
It was so wonderful. I love Brandon Cutler. I want him on TV every single week.
He's so good, man.
So the match, move after move, back and forth. It was awesome. Dirty, your boy Marco gets thwacked with a chair by Omega, which good. I can't stand Marco. Hate him so much.
Go away.
Yes, he's just
go away.
Shoo. Oh, there's that goddamn mosquito again.
Take some hard bumps.
Okay, sorry. Of course, Young Bucks hit the BTE trigger for the win, and it was a good match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Up next, Big Show. I'm sorry, Paul White comes out, and he's going to have a match with QT Marshall. Sure. Team Taz Schmaz, also sure. I love Ricky Starks. Pac challenges El Idolo. Sure. Also, all fine. Mm-hmm. I do too. Thunder Rosa versus Penelope Ford. Rosa gets the win.
I like Penelope on my TV.
I do too. I like Thunder Rosa on my TV.
I'm a fan of Thunder Rosa, yeah.
I do too, yeah, absolutely.
Texan.
And
that's a given.
Of course she's a Texan. They're all Texans. And all of this was great. All of it was fine. And it set up, a whole bunch of storylines going forward, which AEW is really good at that. So we have, which I really wanted to talk about this, because this was giant pop for me. Number 2, that I'm like, oh, that was better than the Sting pop. How is it going to get better? So Chris Jericho versus Michael Jacob Freeman it's the 5th trial of Jericho.
This was so great, man. This was so good.
I thought the stipulation for this was no Judas Effect, which meant no Judas Effect music, entrance music. So Jericho comes out, no music, and the fans sing every word of that song, and it was amazing. It was so cool. It was one of the best entrances.
It really was. It really was. Like I fell in love with every person in that crowd. I'm like, I didn't even think about this even happening. Did you guys think that? Oh well, he's just going to come out to no music, and and it just kind of walk out and everybody be like, but they sang the song, man. How cool is that? That's cool.
Also, I don't know why I called him Michael, but Maxwell. There we go.
Michael Jacob Freeman.
Michael Jackson.
Still MJF.
Michael Jackson Freebird.
Freebird.
Did we just find our new Sir Murderhawk here?
It seems like we have a new Sir Murderhawk like every single week. So you're welcome. This is what I bring to the show. I botch people's names and they have new gimmicks. So Michael Jackson Freebird, the stipulation is a no Judas Effect. So that's the whole crowd sings Judas Effect, which is unbelievable. Like I had goosebumps again.
Judas in my mind.
So the actual match, I thought it was the right result, but I still wanted Jericho to win. I did, but just because Jericho's awesome and he's gone through all these trials, so of course you want the babyface to go over. At least I did. Not like you dirty heels. But it was absolutely correct that.
Well, I am a Jerichoholic, and I did want him to win.
You just can't live without Jericho.
I gotta get my Jericho.
If you're a fan, you want him to win, obviously, but the right thing to do for the business. This is why Chris is a legend.
Yeah, no, he does it. He does it for the business. You get him all the way there.
And then nope. It was absolutely the right result because MJF is an unstoppable heel at this point, and he's so over as a heel. So the match is really good too, because Chris Jericho gets on the top rope and he does like the 10 punches, and then does a top rope Hurricane Rana, which in his 50s or late 40s, whatever, however old he is super impressive. MJF hits a low blow and then hits his own Judas Effect, which Jericho can't use. He went to go do it a couple of times, but couldn't do it.
Yeah, he when spinning stops.
Then he stopped. But then Michael Jackson Friedman hit one, and it was great.
Yeah. Jackson Freebird. Chris Jericho is exactly 50, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's so impressive. But MJF, again, he solidified himself as he's the top heel in the company. Like, I know Omega has all the belts, but MJF, top heel.
He is top heel.
And I do like how he's been one step ahead of, super babyface Jericho in every single one of their matches. I don't think Jericho has a win over MJF at all. I think he'll get one eventually, but right now, chef's kiss.
Yeah, man. So good. So good. That was the right move, Jericho. Has anybody did more to put back into the business in the last 6 months to a year than Jericho? Any wrestler, just all the stuff that he's doing, bringing in the viewers, headlining kind of a new company, putting the stars over. He's got one of the biggest factions in wrestling right now. Oh yeah, don't forget about that. And then he's Chris Jericho on top of all that. It's like, man, he's unbelievable, man. If all the wrestlers were built like him, man.
He's definitely been the MVP of wrestling for a long time, and I think that title is going to be taken by what happened on Friday, but we'll get to that. So that's AEW Dynamite. It was a great show that I totally forgot what happened during it, but I'm glad that I remembered eventually. Yeah. So, great show.
Nice lead up. I felt like it was the perfect way to end, kind of a blow off, to kind of. I know that book is not closed, but for the time being, it felt that way. I think Jericho's coming tonight to give his future predictions of what he's going to be doing.
Yeah,
or something like that tonight. So, but yeah, it was super cool show, and I thought it was well placed there. So, it's because everybody was already thinking, as soon as that match was over, Dynamite went off. It was full blown Punk to Rampage.
Yeah.
All right, so it's my turn now. Impact Wrestling last Thursday, August the 19th. Reminder: Impact Wrestling is on Access TV. Channel number 340 on DirecTV. I'm not sure anything
Reminder, else. Impact Wrestling exists.
Easy.
Just kidding. They exist. Christian made them relevant again.
Man, that's
joking. We have your guy on there. What's his name?
All right, so leading in the show was Christian Cage. Showing him winning the Impact title, and then they announced that Christian is going to be there tonight. So after that, they promote Emergence, which was on Impact Plus the same night as the big CM Punk debut. A lot of mix and matches. The only thing ended up, I think, being pretty good was Alexander and Jake something. Alexander retained. But anyway, for this particular show, to start the show, they don't lead in anything to anything. Eddie Edwards and Morrissey are going at it right off of the bat. They are fighting into the Impact Zone. Sami Callihan shows up with a bat, runs off Morrissey, and then they kind of get in each other's face, and Eddie tells Sami that he don't need his help. And Sami's like, oh, well, I think you do. And Eddie leaves, So kind of leads to possibly something else on down the road. But anyway, Sami stays in the ring, and Chris Sabin comes out to be his tag team partner player.
Player. Hand flaps.
They're going to be taking on the team, while you dance, of Ace Austin and Moose. All right, so Chris Sabin ends up pinning Ace Austin. Sami gives Sabin a pretty nasty pile driver, and then kind of funny, man. He takes a bow and leaves. So no, it was pretty funny. But then Shira and with Raju comes out. He's going to be taking on Matt Cardona with Chelsea Green. And anyway, the match breaks down. Chelsea ends up slapping Rohit Raju. Anyway, the match ends up breaking down. Cardona ends up winning. Right directly after this match, Christian Cage comes out to a nice, heartfelt, warm welcome from the Impact Zone fans for the first time. And he comes out with a nice, heartfelt speech, too, of what TNA did for him. And so kind of a cool thing, he had the Impact title and the TNA title. So he officially retires the TNA belt and says that from this point on, it's going to be all about the Impact Wrestling Championship. He loves everything that TNA did for him, what the belt stands for, the lineage of it, but it's all about Impact Wrestling now. So he officially walks out the TNA title from the Impact Zone to chants from the fans saying TNA. Primo.
So I actually watched this, and
Mr. Impact exists.
I was joking. Whoa. That was a joke. Tonight's Dropkick discussion is our top 5 favorite Impact wrestlers of all time.
Did you just Google best Impact wrestlers of all time? And you went,
no, it's from when I used to watch it back in the 2000s. No, I'm just kidding. For real. Christian did a good job, and I know it was a good move to retire the TNA championship belt. However, I kind of wished he would have talked more about the lineage of that title, the holders of that title, what that title and the people that held it built, how they built that company,
I'm okay that they didn't mention Jeff Jarrett a whole bunch. I don't want to hear more about Jeff Jarrett.
JARRETT.
Just wait for our most hated wrestlers of all time list.
JEFF. GUNN. G-U-N-N.
I don't want to talk about him.
There's your top two right there.
I'm going to have to talk about him next week.
I get it, Primo, because, I guess maybe they were a little pressed for time. But anyway, Brian Myers comes out to face Christian to talk about their fight at Emergence because Brian Myers had won the Battle Royal.
The most professional wrestler.
The most professional wrestler. All right, so next up was Melina's official wrestling debut for Impact. She wrestled Brandy Lauren, who I think was Joey Janela's girlfriend at some point.
I feel like everyone was Joey Janela's girlfriend at some point.
Slay, man, slay.
Hey, can't hate the guy.
That's right, man. Hey, you ever seen him jump off a building into a bunch of light tubes? You ever seen that video of Janela?
No.
That right there got him laid 1,000 times, probably just on just that one.
It's a lot of getting laid.
So that's what it takes.
So
that's what it takes. Yep.
That's what you need to do is get a bunch of light tubes and climb up a building.
Yep.
Kids,
put them in the back of the truck.
We do not condone this. Don't try this at home.
Do not try this home. Thank you for that.
Or do. We're not your parents.
So Melina wins, obviously. Deanna Purrazzo and Matt Rewalt, the Drama King, Aiden English.
Drama King.
And she attacks Melina. Trey Miguel saves Melina. And so probably next week we're going to have a tag team match, player.
Holla, holla.
All right, next up, my boy John Schuyler. After his big win last week, he comes out to cut a promo of, he's putting the world on notice. John Schuyler's here to take over, baby, and he'll pin. He'll pin. So his promo gets cut short by Juice Robinson. It was like he got laid out behind the interview. It was like the camera pan to Juice Robinson being laid out. So confusion set in, and I'm still confused. So anyway.
Confucius said.
Confucius. All right, next up. Jake, what's my name?
Sunday!
Man, you guys are on point these days. Versus Caleb with a K. All I wrote right here was Jake Crush. Jake Crush. And then Josh comes out to confront Jake. They face off because they wrestled at Emergence, which I just told you Alexander retained. All right, main event, guys. Joe Doring versus the big Doc Gallows. AKA, what was his name? What was he? Cephas?
Festus.
Luke Gallows.
Festus.
Doc Gallows. Big LG.
Big LG. It's funny because the time that my wife watched wrestling was when Festus was. Yeah. So I want to call it 5 years ago whenever, not more than 5 years ago, but when he was big and I was watching New Japan, Bullet Club and stuff. She goes, "Is that Festus?" Yeah. I was like, "Yeah, it actually is." She goes, "Oh my God, like he looks so different." I'm like, "Yeah, his tongue isn't hanging out. He's not acting like he's
like no, it's there. Luke Gallows from Straight Edge Society."
Yeah,
All right, so
he didn't have the hair tufts on the side of his head anymore. The Krusty the Clown hair tufts.
Hey.
All right, so this bad.
That was awful.
It was.
Ha 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 ha. Hi kids, I'm Krusty the Clown. Ha ha ha.
Is that what you do? You just say his name and make a bad clown sound?
When I did a couple weeks ago, I was like, Twitch.
All right, boys. Joe Doring, Doc Gallows. This fight was all over the place. Doc wins with a sit-down powerbomb, but he powerbombs Joe through like a part of the side stage. So it was like a pretty big bump, It was like they fell through like a big styrofoam table thing. Anyway, so you think that's how the match is going to end because they're all like kind of laid out. Looks like nobody's going to wake up for a week. And then they're just kind of laying there. And then they crawl out, man. They go back to the ring. And I was actually starting to really like this match because they were really going at it. But Joe Doring ends up winning by a big clothesline on Doc. So that was the finish to Impact Wrestling before Emergence, which I said not much happened. But All right, so let me give you a quick little rundown of what's going on in the Indies, boys. Check this out, man. We got some really cool wrestling going on. First of all, let's talk about our home promotion here close to us. AAW Destination Chicago is Thursday, September the 2nd at Logan Square Auditorium. Juice Robinson is on that. Primo's he's sporting the AAW shirt right now because what does it say on the back, Primo? We bleed Chicago. That's right. Undisputed, the greatest wrestling city on the planet. Right, AJ?
Yeah, without question or argument. Yeah, objectively the best wrestling city in the country.
All right, couple more notes here for you guys. Black Label Pro is running in Chicago, Hoffman Estates, the weekend of All Out. So they're putting on some shows out there. I think Filthy Tom Lawler is on one of the shows. Two more things here, guys. Just announced. This one's pretty amazing, man. I wish I could get down to Charlotte. I'm not going to rule it out. We'll see. PWX just announced Hail to the King, October the 2nd. Headliner is Anthony Henry, just released by WWE NXT. He is wrestling his dream match against Minoru Suzuki.
Ooh.
In Charlotte. Concord, North Carolina. It's where the Charlotte Motor Speedway is. The Concord, I think it's Cabarrus Arena. Yeah, pretty sweet. So
road trip.
Yeah, man. All right, so let me talk about this weekend. So I told some of you guys I'm going to Seattle this weekend with a little vacay. And just so happens there's two huge wrestling shows going on up in Seattle. Defy is up running two shows Friday night in the Seattle. It's the Washington Hall. I've seen a wrestling show there before. Man, I want to go so bad, but wife. She's not gonna let me go. It ain't gonna happen, man. It ain't gonna happen. So not this because this is kind of a little bit of an anniversary trip here. So, but let me talk about. Let me say a couple names. It's 2 nights. They're calling the name of the card Leviathan. Am I saying that right?
Leviathan,
yeah.
Correct.
2-night card. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. 2-night card. Oh, just those 2 nights. Here are some names: Shaft, Josh Alexander, Rocky Romero, a.k.a. Roppongi Vice. How about that? Hammerstone, Calvin Tankman, and our boy Sir Murderhawk.
Sir Lance Arthur.
Bringing
manners to Seattle.
To
the Leviathan.
Yeah,
it's a really cool venue to see wrestling, man, up there. So, but I'm gonna miss those unless something comes up, unless the wife gets busy with work or something. Then I might just have to slide over there. Well, Friday night sold out. Saturday night I think might be standing room only. So, place don't hold a lot of people, but it's going to be really cool. So, shout out to Defy Wrestling up there in Seattle area, and hopefully next time I come visit, I can see a show. I love Seattle. It's like my second favorite place to be in the United States. But
apart from Poughkeepsie, New York,
Boston, Massachusetts.
Really?
Yes, I love
so
it.
Not Poughkeepsie, New York.
Not Poughkeepsie.
Never been there either.
Poughkeepsie's a tight third, and then Parts Unknown is probably 4th.
Yeah, Death Valley also.
Indiana.
Death Valley's in South Carolina. Death Valley's in South Carolina.
Indiana. No one would say that, even people from Indiana.
So that is the short little small roundup of some shows that have just been announced and a few that's coming up here this weekend. So Primo, run us down here real quick. SmackDown before we get to the big weekend's festivities.
Smackity down, baby. Smack it down. Primo's game, baby. Smackity down. Sorry, I digress. Excuse me. Got a little excited. Okay. It's the go home show for SummerSlam.
Sure is.
And basically,
wow.
Let's just run through this real quick.
Real quick.
Yep, real quick. Edge comes out and starts out the show and drops a fire promo about Seth Rollins.
Good promo.
Mysterio is backstage getting kind of tense again. Daddy's telling the boy, start listening to me. Boy doesn't want to listen, but whatever. Matchup between Ray versus Jay Uso, excuse me. Ray versus Jay. Jay Uso is victorious.
I won't give in.
As Pat McAfee, speaking of, I don't know if you guys know, Pat McAfee is at home right now with 102 fever, awaiting COVID results. Get better, Pat. Us here at Sit Down Marks wish you well. But in the words of Pat McAfee, bum-ass Baron Corbin comes out with the stolen Money in the Bank briefcase for a matchup against KO. During the match, Big E comes out and attacks Baron and seems to be reclaiming his briefcase when Corbin's able to strike from behind and steal his briefcase back. Okay. We had Shotzi and Nox with Tamina and Natalya back.
Natalya's back
already. Quickly.
Can't get behind either of these four.
Why is she with Tamina?
Shotzi and Nox win.
Thank God.
They're like they keep letting them go over, but nothing is happening. That's all that keeps happening is they just keep winning.
Mm-hmm. But then go nowhere.
And they were like, "Is there a story here?" Or are they just having matches where Shotzi and Nox just win?
Yeah. Every time I see Shotzi, I think about an Evolve show that I went and seen her at I think it was actually in Indianapolis, and I thought she broke her skull on the pavement.
Yeah. Every match I watched her in NXT, I was like, oh my God, because she always does something where I'm like, she just killed herself. Rollins comes out and delivers a promo to basically, rebuttal Edge's promo. And but he is interrupted by the Brood's music. Under a red lighting in the Titantron, Edge shows up on the screen. Says,
"What? We couldn't get Gangrel?
Beware.
Yeah, he was busy.
Take care, because the freaks come out at night."
Yeah.
And boom, the lights go out. If the announcers say Broodbath one more time, it's going to drive me absolutely nuts. It's Bloodbath, people. Rollins got a Bloodbath.
No, it was Broodbath. It was black.
It was black, but we know.
Broodbath.
We know.
It was
anyway. Moving on, Montez Ford versus Otis. That was the coolest part of the night, by the way.
Otis?
Montez, no.
That's never the coolest part of any night.
Otis?
Yep.
You mean former Heavy Machinery tag team?
Former one half of Heavy Machinery.
One half of Heavy Machinery.
Make sure we were talking about
Tucker. He was with Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker.
Yeah. Tucker. Montez Ford versus Otis. Otis wins. Bianca versus Zelina. She did back-to-back matches here. Zelina and Carmella, she won both of them.
Yeah, they're booking Bianca super strong. I love it.
Yeah.
On Friday.
At the final segment, Roman and Cena face off. Roman raises the stakes and says, either I'm leaving with that Universal Championship or I'm leaving the WWE. Now, every fan of the WWE knows for damn well you're not leaving the WWE.
Yeah. Any mystery around that match, if there was any at all, which there wasn't.
And right as he's like, they're getting ready to, leave, and because this whole time Cena's been saying, all I need is 1, 2, 3, right? Yeah. So right as Roman's like throwing the mic down, about to walk away, he turns and Cena rolls him up for a quick pin.
Yeah,
and the crowd counts to 3. It was
a fast count.
It was technically 2.5.
Yeah, they're not qualified. They haven't
been heel crowd.
Heel crowd. Yeah. So anyway, as we go off the show at that point, it was just a build up. There was nothing that really happened besides the Brood bath.
So I'm going to agree with Undead here and say that episode was nigh unwatchable. I hated it so much.
It lacked any substance. There was really.
Yeah. We expect more pump up from a go home show.
Yeah, it's a go home show to the biggest party of the summer.
Right. I mean, like I said, the bloodbath was the coolest thing.
In defense, go ahead.
But they could have done it like 2 weeks ago, and then we've been like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And then a go home show, do something.
Yeah, but I think they did it on that show because they wanted hype. They want people to turn in to see Brood Edge.
If they're real fans, they'll be there, like I was.
Yeah, I know, but casual fans.
Well, they need to get uncasual.
They still care about them. They always will.
Stupid casual fans. They have no place.
I wonder if they'll care after they sell the company.
Can they please sell the company?
Is that another topic?
Yes.
Let me say this, though. I've enjoyed Roman and Cena's face-offs, the promos on each other. I have. I have too. It was good. Yeah. Roman's missionary was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
And then they started overplaying it, but yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was. That was great.
It was cool, and then him bringing up Nikki Bella was funny.
Yeah,
also funny.
I like it when we tinker on real life stuff.
I did enjoy their exchanges. I'll say that, and I did enjoy seeing Big Match John back. I'll say that. Right. Mm-hmm. I was still upset with him for stealing Finn's match.
I was super upset with him,
and
still am.
I mean, and we knew it was going to happen. But
Cena's going to draw more than Finn every day of the year.
Because you got all them little snot-nosed kids out there that are like, oh my God, John Cena.
Yeah, man, most of those snot-nosed kids haven't even seen Cena in a long time.
No, they weren't even alive when Cena was.
Now it's just all the moms.
In
WWE, oh my God, Cena!
In WWE lore, Cena's on Mount Rushmore.
Because you hear, let's go Cena! Cena sucks!
Yeah, the dudes and the girls. The dudes and the girls.
Yeah. Although I would totally be one of the let's go Cena people had I been in the crowd. I love John Cena. I do. Always have.
He is for sure on the Mount Rushmore. There's no denying that. I like to give him crap, but in the end, obviously, I'm a real fan. I'm a fan of his too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no, it's just
it's fun to pick on him.
Yeah, easily.
And it's one guy that they can always plug in anywhere, and it will always sell tickets and will always up the card. And like I said, he's on the Mount Rushmore of WWE wrestlers of all time. Is like I've never been a fan of him either. Y'all know me, I like heels, but he's one of the top 4 ever in.
Oh, WWE. For sure.
Yeah, and he's he's lasted out a lot of decades of wrestling here, so he's still hanging around. So all right, so that is SmackDown. So let's get to the heat here. AJ, Rampage. First of all, how about this, boys? How about the pipe bomb shirt? Huh?
That's amazing.
I love it. I love that.
I tried to find my old CM Punk T-shirt that was just the fist and had like the black piping around the.
Yeah.
Could not find it, and I'm I'm pretty sure either my brother stole it, in which case I will drive to San Antonio and first hit you with a chair and then steal my CM Punk T-shirt back. Although I don't think it would fit him because he's all like muscly and stuff, and I'm a tiny human, so that's
my CM Punk shirt that I had was I'm a Paul Heyman guy. And the back said voice of the voiceless.
Yep.
So my brother just put don't wear medium.
I got to figure out what kind of match you guys are going to be in next week. So I got to come up with a match that you guys.
I don't wear medium.
Yep.
I'll show you a medium. Fetal position.
AJ, Rampage was all the rage. United Center, Chicago. We thought, we would have to go the whole hour without seeing the man come out here first.
Oh, no.
We talked about our feelings and what we were feeling and the emotions, the goosebumps. But let's go through it one more time here, AJ. Get us started with Rampage.
Good, because I could talk about this until forever. So my notes here.
Look in my eyes.
What do you see?
I
saw them live once.
And then underneath that it says, and some wrestling, which...
And some wrestling.
Like, it was hard to focus on anything after this. But
it was.
AEW
did it. The high this weekend.
Yep. And it was perfect.
I think it was the right move to do it right out the gate because if they waited till the end, it would have been CM Punk the entire night.
The whole
So
time.
Might as well get it out of the way.
Thanks for not making us wait.
Right.
Yep. And that. So we've talked about, like favorite wrestling moments ever. And for me, this might take the top spot ever. Like,
okay.
I've watched this literally 30 times. I know the whole promo by heart now. I can recite the whole thing.
And Dirty disagrees with me because he's an old head, but it replaces the Road Warrior pop.
Yep, I absolutely agree.
100%.
100%.
There are pro wrestlers that have tweeted this out too.
Sure, I get it, but Road Warriors got that pop everywhere in every country for years. Punk is probably, that's the only reason why I say that is the longevity. Yeah, that was one of the biggest pops I've ever heard. I mean, of this era, we should call it CM Punk or the Punk
for sure.
For this era, for sure. Yeah, I'm not arguing that.
I saw also too, like how because SmackDown was like airing right before that, and how basically the people were tweeting out like when sitting down, just sitting down gets an ovation.
Yeah, it's true too. Because all he did was when he sat in the ring, everyone went nuts. Yep. Also,
because of this right here. Remember him sitting down?
He sat cross-legged in the ring. Everyone went nuts.
He said it got hot in here. Man,
hold on, it's hot in here. Then he took off the sweatshirt. Had the
So, I was there. Those are on eBay.
I want a shirt. I'm gonna wait till they get more of them, but I want a shirt.
They have those. So they have the front logo in stock. It's just the front logo though, and the back is blank. I was there. You only got them if you were there.
They don't have my size, which apparently, according to my brother, is a schmedium.
At Pro Wrestling Tees,
you shop at Baby Gap. No, AEW.com.
AEW Baby Gap.
Oh, gosh.
Baby AEW. That's where I shop.
Yeah.
I could be a Husky.
He shut down Pro Wrestling Tees. He shut down the website.
Oh, did
he?
Yeah. Because they were offering his shirt, so they were together. I'm pretty sure Pro Wrestling Tees makes AEW shirts.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah.
So also they didn't beat SmackDown in overall viewers because I think SmackDown had like a 2.1 million where AEW had like a 1.8 million. But in every important demographic to wrestling, they trounced WWE in, which that's a good sign. It's a good sign for AEW, I guess.
Sure.
And those of us who really like AEW more than WWE. Right.
So let's talk about what Punk said. What did he say?
Okay. Yes, Primo.
I was agreeing to that last statement.
No, so you didn't have a question?
No, there wasn't a question that time. That was me saying, at this very moment, I am 10 times more excited to watch AEW.
Yes, me too.
So,
yeah, Milwaukee tonight.
So, all right, we'll go through this.
Milwaukee.
So the music hits, and I know, like, we've all watched it multiple times. I'm assuming anyone who's is currently listening to this right now has watched it multiple times, but I'm still going to go over it because I'm going to see if I can't give myself goosebumps. So the music hits, and then they wait that 10 seconds, and then he comes out, and first he kneels down, and you can tell he's just soaking it all in, like he's always been, like, he's had a very emotionally expressive face, and you can see him just go through all of it, like right there when he's kneeling. So then he finally stands up, kind of, let's go. Crowd pops huge again for the third time.
Yes.
And then, like, the coolest shot, I think, throughout this entire thing is he kind of stops midway through the ramp, or midway up the ramp, and
I got goosebumps on my leg, AJ.
You're welcome. And he, the camera pans in front of him, and he's just kind of standing there taking it all in again. And, like, all the crowd behind him is going nuts, and then
awesome.
So he goes and gives a hug to one of the guys that has, like, if Punk is here, we riot signs. And then on the back it said, if Punk isn't here, we riot. I like that. And then
you got to cover both sides.
Yeah. And then he crowd surfs. He goes across the ramp and jumps into the crowd. And the crowd pops for the fourth time, bigger than I've ever heard. So he finally makes his way up to the ring, and the fans won't be quiet enough to let him get into the ring and speak. So he goes around the ring and, is hugging people. He's hugging his family.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, this whole time the music's going, but you cannot hear the music.
You can't hear it. Yeah. Like, after that first, that was it.
Yeah.
That's all
and it was, like Primo pointed out to us, too, it was a different little...
Yeah, there was a different static.
Yeah, the little thing in front of it.
Yeah.
Which I found out that's a little snippet from the Alan Parsons Project. Mm-hmm. I looked it up to see what it was, and it was a little snippet from Alan Parsons Project. Or so I've read. I don't know if that's actually true. Anyways, so his music finally cuts off, and the crowd is still chanting. He finally grabs a mic, and he makes his way into the ring.
Goosebumps when he grabbed the
just
mic.
it's just like,
he's gonna talk. He's gonna talk.
it's like to be him. Like, what does that feel like?
Like king of Chicago and kind of the king of the world and king of the wrestling world at the moment. Yeah.
And then he immediately calls out, or not calls out, but gives props to another wrestler. He's like, you know how to make a kid feel like Britt Baker in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
What a great way to start that entire promo. I'm immediately going to put over someone else.
Nice.
So he then proceeds, like he didn't know what he was going to say because he was like, I didn't know how I was going to feel, but I know that I needed to feel it.
Right.
And then he goes on to talk about how he's been gone for 7 years and, everyone chants his name and he always heard them chanting his name. And he then, this is so, like, he digs at WWE without digging at WWE because he was like, I was in a place, in order to heal emotionally, physically, spiritually, so on and so forth, I had to leave the place that was making me sick in the first place. And I was like, oh, that's like the greatest thing you could have said at that moment. And so then I also like this a lot. He doesn't apologize for leaving. But he was like, I hope everyone understands, or at least attempts to understand why I needed to go away for so long, why I needed to get right, and why I couldn't come back to the place I was in. So that was awesome. So then it's like the very act of sitting down, because he's like, can I tell you guys a story? And
right.
Crowd goes nuts, and that's when he's like, it's hot in here, and takes off his shirt, or his sweatshirt, which I want his sweatshirt. It just said Larry right here.
That's dog?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I want a sweatshirt that says Larry on it now.
I like then he sits, man. It's cool.
He sits cross-legged in the ring, and again, crowd goes nuts. And he talks about how his last day in professional wrestling was August 13th, 2005. And he talks about, because that was his last match at Ring of Honor, and he puts over Ring of Honor being like, that's a place that I love. That's a place that people could come and work and get paid, learn their craft, and love professional wrestling. So then, like, he stands up and he's like, August 13th, 2005, I left professional wrestling. August 21st, 2021, August 20th, 2021, I'm back. Crowd goes nuts again. And then he's like, hey, and I'm not going anywhere. Fridays, Wednesdays, 4 Saturdays and Sundays a year.
Yeah, he's like, I'm available.
Yep.
That's a pretty sick schedule.
So this says not a light schedule is what this says to me.
This says full time to me. And I know I said, I'm like, I would be okay if he was part-time. Nope, I full-time. Yes.
we're thankful he's all in.
Yes, but yeah,
we are very thankful. Yeah, let me throw this out there real quick, guys. How much you think he's getting paid a year?
Oh, more than any.
I don't know. I don't even know what the top guy gets paid. Like, I have no idea. I feel like whatever I think they get paid, they probably get paid nowhere close.
Well, and like, they have, in WWE merch, tied into their
get royalties and everything else.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I just say, know
like, how much, like, I don't, like, we don't know how much they make, but Omega from AEW.
I don't know.
Well, he's also one of the EVPs, though.
Yeah.
Couple mil a year?
I would say like 1.7.
He's also one of the executives.
Yeah, that's true. I bet that Punk is getting $1 million.
I think it's more. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I just feel like to get him to come out of retirement, it's got to be a nice number.
Yeah.
It's got to be a worth it number.
I think he also, there was a want there, too, on his part.
Mm-hmm. I think so, too. Well, and then he was talking about how he was like, I wish I was surrounded by this young talent 10 years ago. And then I was saying to myself, they're there, so why aren't you? Here I am. That was my favorite line of the entire promo.
Man, he had Chicago in the palm of his hand.
Oh yeah, and
before he even walked out.
Yep. Well, and then he brings up Darby Allin, which crowd went nuts at the mention of Darby Allin's name. And Darby Allin and Sting are up in the rafters, and I loved it because the whole time, like, Sting was being cool, stoic Sting, because he's Sting. Like, God damn it, I'm Sting. But you could tell Darby Allin was doing his best not to mark out, didn't drop an F-bomb. He was doing his best not to mark out the entire time that CM Punk was talking. Because at one point he had to, like, close his eyes.
Yeah, Darby?
Right. Yeah. He was doing his best not to go nuts. That CM Punk was talking about him.
This is from essentiallysports.com. They said in WWE in 2011, he earned $1 million. In 2012, in 13, he got raised to 1.3, and by 2014, before he left, he was making 1.7. His fight against Mickey Gall in UFC, even though he was not successful, he still made a flat fee of $500,000. That's excluding the Reebok sponsorship. So there is speculation as of right now that, judging by his demeanor and Tony Khan's urge to spend, that it's a multi-million-dollar deal.
Yes,
good.
yes.
Good. Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
Nice
so we'll wrap up this promo now, I guess, because again, I didn't mean to go on and do the thing almost word for word, but at the very end of it, after he says he's back, crowd goes nuts again. They play his music, and then before they play his music, this is when he goes, and just for everyone, 7 years is a long time to wait. So on your way out of the United Center, grab yourself a free ice cream bar.
Oh, this is so great, wasn't it?
I loved it so
And then I love
much.
when everybody was leaving, they were posting pictures of them on Twitter and, the pictures of the ice cream bars, man. It was so
You probably find those wrappers on eBay.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to buy one.
All right,
I'm not
so
really gonna buy one, but
AJ, I got to tell the story real quick. So our friend Adam, that was our friend Adam that was on the podcast last week. He texted me the day of the show and said that he had an extra ticket to go to the United Center and for Rampage, and I had no way of getting out because I had to keep my kids. And so I tried to figure things out to work, but it didn't. So I ended up staying at home. And so I asked my friend AJ if he would like the ticket to go. He was working. So both of us had to turn down a free ticket from Adam. He ended up selling it on StubHub. But
you know who was off work on Friday?
You.
Well, you know who lives on the East Coast?
Yeah, I'm in Virginia.
I'm still.
Wow!
Let me tell you what.
Myself in the face.
After I got through the emotions of everything that happened, I thought to myself, man, that was like one of the best wrestling moments.
That is a historic moment.
Yep.
And we could have been there.
Could have been there.
Wow.
Only one of us, but yeah, definitely could have been there. So
had to, wow.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm still real upset about it.
AJ was working?
Yep.
So you could have dropped the kids off with AJ at work.
Yeah, bring him to the radio station.
Yeah, really should have done so. All right. Well, after that, just one last note. When Punk's segment got done, I rewinded it back and watched it 3 times in a row before I started to come down from my high. My wife was sitting next to me for some of it. I know, it was amazing. I know she probably thought I was a little kid again, but I was. Thank you, CM Punk, for bringing that feeling, that love of why we do this, why we love to talk about it, why we get these feelings. Everything I love about wrestling happened again Friday night, and thank you.
It was all condensed into 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and
like I said earlier, I don't know if I mentioned it here or during our pre-talk, but I was on the edge of my seat. My wife had walked in right when he came out, and she saw me, and she already knew how important this was to me. And she actually was marking out herself. And she's a light wrestling fan. She's a wrestling fan by proxy because of me. So my daughter goes to run in the room, right? And my daughter's 6 years old, and she is a talker. My daughter goes to run in the room, and my wife goes, shh.
That's great.
Because she knew I did not want to be disturbed.
Yep,
Now is not the time.
Yep. The importance. My wife came downstairs with me, and I go, "You sure you want to be here?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and read my book and stuff." And she did. She's used to me going nuts at wrestling. Like it's nothing new to her. But she is from this area. She knows who CM Punk is because you don't have to be a wrestling fan to know who CM Punk is in Illinois.
Oh yeah, especially here.
Yeah, so so it was really cool, really important. She was shocked too, like, oh my God, he's back. And I'm like, yes, and I love wrestling, and I'm goose bumping and wanting to cry, and the emotions is just
We're throwing our Ric Flair blazers on the ground and elbow
oh
dropping.
Oh my God, man, yeah.
That's gonna be our next T-shirt, by the way. Is there going?
All right, AJ, what else happened on Rampage?
I don't know.
Yeah, me either.
some things. So yeah, there was some wrestling.
Daniel Garcia, Moxley.
Daniel Garcia and Moxley. Good match, real short, obviously. There was Jade Cargill versus what's her name? Kiera Hogan.
Yep.
Sure. Jurassic Express versus Private Party, which was actually a fantastic match again. Jurassic Express is amazing again. Although Private Party,
whoa.
I need to go. I need to go use some mouthwash real quick. Private Party hit a top rope Canadian Destroyer when Jungle Boy was sitting on Luchasaurus' shoulders, which was awesome. But the Jurassic Express got the win. They move on in the tag team eliminator tournament. Very cool.
Any chance they win the belt off the Bucks soon?
I think so. I think
the biggest.
They need a belt. Like, I think it'll be. Plus, like, they're super over. It'll be a huge pop. I think so. I think it's time for the Bucks to drop the belts.
Who's the other bracket? It's Lucha Brothers against two.
Lucha Brothers versus the Varsity Blondes.
Varsity Blondes tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. Blondes with no E. They took the E off.
No, the E is for those who don't have mullets.
Oh. Is that like Iconoclast? Should I have known that?
I don't know. I made it up.
It's like
I'm an old head already.
It's like my Eddie Kingston shirt. We don't care about the E.
Yeah, we don't care about the E.
Wrestling.
What else?
He was announced to be there tonight.
Yep, he's going to be there tonight. Which that is what I'm doing. Actually, I have to go to work after this, but after that, then
you're gonna get a beefy bomb.
Get that beefy.
Oh.
I was very surprised for a second.
It was.
Primo.
I was channeling beef there.
Primo. What did you do?
I beefy bombed my hand on there
was something
podcast
else.
imitating life.
My desk bit me.
There's something else I was going to say about the Punk promo now, but now I can't remember because now I'm just reliving it again. It was to wrestling fans, it was probably the most important thing that could have happened at this particular moment in time. It was just the best. It was the best. It was perfect. And
It's the best.
Right, a kid. All right, yeah, that was awesome, man. It was a monumental show. It wasn't the first Rampage show, but it was kind of technically it was. Now they're off to the races. Punk is showing up tonight in Milwaukee. It's going to be nuts, man. Wrestling is alive and very well, damn it. We're here.
And after this,
damn it, we back.
Then we had to go and live through the rest of the weekend, which was okay. It's fine.
All right, Primo, let's get this SummerSlam card here underway. Just kind of go through and tell us the results here, how we all came down, and for big Saturday night show.
Yep. In case those of you out there that didn't know, SummerSlam was on a Saturday this year. So, open up the show, we had AJ Styles tag team championship match. AJ Styles and Almost versus RK Bro.
Was this the most predictable match of the weekend? I think it was. This was the lock, right?
Oh yeah.
Of who was going to win this one? Like this.
I thought to me probably Damian Priest was the most predictable.
I think the whole card was the most predictable.
I think the entire weekend was the most predictable, but
True.
we'll get to that.
Okay.
So anyway, next up, so RK Bro, new.
Bro.
Tag team champions of the world. The Road Dog Jesse. Oh, wrong tag team. RK Bro.
Right result.
Alexa Bliss defeats Eva Marie. Why was that even on there? We had Alexa Bliss. Like, I like Alexa Bliss. Don't get me wrong. But
I do too.
We have this match on there when
but
there's
Big E-
stars like Big E, the Intercontinental Champion Kinsuke Nakamura did not even show up, or he was there, but he didn't have a match.
No, he didn't have a match. That was
came
amazing.
Out, him and Boogs
Also
and Pat
good.
McAfee were all gyrating on the table.
Boogs.
Nakamura. I can't do it.
So anyway, Alexa Bliss defeats Eva Marie. Duh. Drew McIntyre defeats Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharaja. And, which I knew that was going to happen too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, like, I didn't mean that. Like, I knew, but, like, who really thought Jinder was going to win? Like,
Dirty.
I have a philosophy. It didn't work.
Wait, yeah. I forgot. My bad. Next up, we had Damian Priest versus Sheamus for the United States Championship.
No. I kind of like Damian.
Nope. I'm sandbagging.
Now,
I don't know if he's not going to get over with this gimmick, but you know, I like Punishment Martinez. Let's bring him back.
I'm not a fan of what he's doing either right now. But anyway, he's your new United States champion. The Usos defeat the Mysterios again to retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Now they can shoo and go away.
Do you think they're going to shoo and go away, though?
I don't know. Fight amongst yourselves. Go somewhere.
we need the blow off.
Go in the corner and do some things.
No, hey, Undead Lumberjack. Not AJ's brother.
Not my brother.
Totally not your brother. But
Nope.
Pat McAfee should never stop talking.
I'm a fan of Pat McAfee too.
I also like Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
He's the greatest thing to happen to SmackDown, and he even he brings up Michael Cole's game.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Nothing brings up Michael Cole's game.
No, wait, I'm saying I don't enjoy Michael Cole. I'm saying he elevates him a little bit.
I'm a
challenge me to a duel.
fan.
Anyway, moving on.
Virtual white gloves.
Yes.
We had the Raw Women's Championship with Nikki, almost a superhero, versus Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair in a triple threat match, a thruple.
And the old thruple matches.
Charlotte Flair is your new
12 times.
12 times, but actually 13. But 12. But actually 13.
So next up, we had the match that was supposed to happen that didn't happen. It was Bianca Belair defending her SmackDown's Women's Championship against Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks no-showed the event. I'm still not sure why.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys because I didn't know anything.
She wasn't cleared. Like she has some sort of...
medically. Okay, yeah. That's right. That's what it was. Yeah, because technically she wasn't supposed to be doing what she was doing 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That is correct. I forgot I read that. So anyway, Sasha wasn't clear for SummerSlam, and they were still advertising this match all the way up until the point, and then out comes the most beautiful woman on SmackDown, Carmella, to be her replacement. Which it's weird that it's weird to me that everything. Now I don't mind Carmella. She's fun to look at. I enjoy her, but I mean that in a very good way.
That was the nice way of saying she's hot as fuck.
See, I don't think she is. Like, Wait, triple berry pie.
Primo just laid out the foundation of how I want every dude to ever address my daughter about how they look. Oh my God.
Okay, all right. So anyway, Carmella is chosen as the replacement, and this whole time the crowd is like, what the hell's going on? This can't be real. Carmella just got squashed yesterday on SmackDown, and before we know it, we have the man returning.
Oh man!
Oh,
two out of the three of us here love Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I was down.
Yeah, me too.
My wife was in here watching a movie, and I was in the living room watching SummerSlam, and this happened. I was like, "Ah!"
I figured she was coming Saturday or Monday.
Yeah, same. I didn't know which day, and I thought she would come out in response to one of the victories.
Yeah, me too. I didn't expect what happened.
So what happened was she ended up coming out. She got her reaction, got it all in. And then she did a spinning side kick into her tummy and knocked her out of the ring.
In her bread basket.
And right in the bread basket. And she said, I'll be right back. She went out there, bashed Carmella for a couple minutes, went back in the ring and said, "Hey there, I'm the last kicker. You want to do this? Me and you, SmackDown's Women's Championship." Bianca Belair had to act like she wasn't just told in the back that she was about to get squashed. And she was like, "Oh, let me think about it." Okay. So, basically,
no.
The man rock bottoms her. Man slams her. And that was it. There was one move. Two moves. She forearms her to the face. And then man slam, 1, 2, 3. Just like that. A champion since WrestleMania was pinned in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Absolute squash.
Ends up being a feud and Bianca, ends up coming back. Like maybe come back and getting the title. Like this makes no sense.
Now
like that. If they had a regular match and Becky won, okay. But
here's the thing, though, they could have easily tore the house down.
Oh
yeah,
no,
absolutely.
I wanted to see it too.
I thought we were in for a 20-minute banger here.
Yep. And I was just like, "Let's go! This is about to be fire, man!"
Yeah,
but now it didn't happen.
Wait, like what?
Wait, was that? It was seriously 12 seconds.
Did the bell ring? I'm like, did I miss something? Like, I took a drink.
I was like, oh, she's shaking her hand. She's being nice.
So, one, they're going to try and position Becky as a heel. Fine, that's fine. But who is supposed to be a credible threat to her? She squashed Bianca Belair, who, by the way, the previous night had beaten Carmella and Selena Vega. So neither of them are credible threats. Bianca's not a credible threat. Who is supposed to be a threat to Becky? And I love Becky Lynch, but this is awful.
Here's the women's division right now. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair.
That's it. That's all you got.
And it's the same women's division that was the women's division 4 years ago.
Yes, it was. It's all kind of come.
We can't see Becky and Charlotte yet.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love both of them. They're both.
As do I.
But, you can't go around doing what happened. But hopefully we'll see Friday some kind of, either Becky's heel now or they're going to explain. They got some explaining to do.
I think they're going to try and push her as a heel. Also, my brother, not my brother, said this made the entire women's division look like kind of a joke. And I kind of agree with them. Like, except for Becky and Charlotte.
Yeah, one of the most
Liv Morgan,
one of the most
Marie
athletic girls. They've really been putting some work into and promoting. She just wrestled in this Riot Fest. thing. So they've been putting a lot of stock.
Bianca has been. She is the SmackDown's women's division, or she has been this year.
Right. Yep.
Because Sasha hasn't been there.
Nope.
And then the others aren't just like. The others are just. I don't know. I'm not going to say they're not threats, but they're all just warm-ups to Bianca at this point, is what they built her up as.
Not anymore.
Anyway, let's move on. So next up we have the Edge versus Seth Rollins match. We all predicted beforehand that this was going to be the match to burn the night down, and I will say with confidence that I thought this was the best match of the night.
Well, by far, best match of the night.
Yep.
Edge comes out. Not only was it the best match of the night, but another one where I was like, "Oh my god!" because he came out to the Brood theme. Not only just the music, he came up through the floor with the flames.
Yes. Loved it.
Yeah. And I like how, because I was reading, I read Squared Circle, and people were like, "Oh, that's where all the pyro went," and because there was no pyro all night.
No pyro all night.
I know. I'll say for Brood Edge.
Yeah. So. Awesome anyway, that was super cool. Edge ended up winning against Seth Rollins. Great match. I liked it a lot.
Me too. Match of the night.
But yeah, it was the match of the night for sure. Next up, we have I'm gonna read to you exactly what I wrote down here. Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg for the WWE Championship. Because this is how I felt. Bobby Lashley beat Goldberg until he quit because he had an ouchie. After the match, Goldberg's kiddo had to get his little nose involved and discovered what happens when you attack the Almighty from behind.
You know what happens?
When you attack him from behind?
Yeah, so basically that's what happened. Bobby Lashley beat Goldberg until he basically cried uncle and quit, and then
my knee hurts.
And then his 15-year-old son thought he could take this gladiator of a man and decided to hop on his back like it was going to work. And
it's like he was a little gremlin.
Barely got touched, and he had to sell like he's a referee. So next up, we had Roman Reigns and John Cena for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns conquers John Cena. 2 Superman punches and a spear is what it took at the end.
Yep.
Afterwards, the final return of the night, the surprise. This was the surprise they kept pretty close to the, to the cuff here. Like we were still speculating like 2 weeks ago, what's Brock doing? So Brock Lesnar returns. Brock Lesnar returns, beard and ponytail, man. I like the look. I dig that. I told my wife, I said, this kind of makes him look more friendly. I want to be his friend. It makes him look less aggressive.
He don't want to be your friend, though.
I know. But I said, Brock Lesnar returns and makes Paul Heyman pee his pants with his beard and ponytail, and that's how we go. And Roman Reigns decides he doesn't want none at this moment, and that's how we end the night at SummerSlam.
I don't. So what are they? Oh, say first of all, they're positioning.
It was me, Undead, by the way. I said, "Who is Mr. SummerSlam?" last week.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
So are they gonna? So is this the next feud going forward? If so, does that mean that Brock Lesnar is going to be on TV for once in the past 4 years?
I answer those later. He attacked Cena after the show went off. It was on Twitter. He attacked Cena after SummerSlam went off.
But
well, that's exciting.
That's exciting. I'd rather see that, but that's confusing.
Yeah, I don't know if if that was just part of the show for the people there, or he was suplexing Cena, Suplex City, and then so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe it'll be Roman Reigns and Lesnar, and then they're fighting, and then a Money in the Bank briefcase gets cashed in right in the middle of the match.
Oh yeah, that would be something new that we haven't seen. So
never ever.
It would be cool if that was something new.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all to see whatever bearded ponytail Brock Lesnar does. I'm most excited just to watch Paul Heyman. Just what's going to go on with that whole situation.
He's like a triangle old girlfriend. Right now. Like he's Lita. He's Lita. And Edge and Matt. Right?
Edge and Matt fighting over
Michael.
Brock and Roman fighting over Paul.
Michael just put Paul Heyman on a forklift match.
All right, real quick, guys. Real quick. I liked SummerSlam. Some people didn't like it.
I enjoyed parts of it, for sure.
I really liked Edge and Seth.
I enjoyed RK Bro.
Enjoy parts, but I mean, like, in all, I thought it was a good show. I didn't mind it at all.
I will say, to me, it was not bad. It made me pop a few times for sure. I enjoyed.
It was a good show then.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I mean, I was down. I'm not saying it was bad. I just there were certain things maybe, but they don't do it just for me. They do it for everybody. So
I would say that minus Seth and Edge, I either outright didn't like it or was bored by it. So that's not a real glowing review. I
thought the Goldberg thing was just plain stupid.
Yeah, I did too. I thought Becky Lynch squashing Bianca Belair was stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I always put the finishes aside. You know what I mean? Was I entertained at the end of the night? Did I get bored? No. Honestly, I thought it was laid out well. We got a big pop from RK Bro, and then, we kind of had some mid-card matches and then we had like an ascension up to the finale. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty well done.
I mean, it was definitely formatted well. I'll say that too, because the way they laid out the matches, there were highs and lows there.
Yeah, AEW was the weekend, and everybody's going to say
that's what I was going to say is the Becky, and so I went back and rewatched after SummerSlam. I went back and rewatched the Becky pop, the Brock pop, just so for myself, and the CM Punk pop afterwards. Yeah, there's no touching that.
No, there wasn't. Nor should there be. I mean, as much as I love Becky, and I do love Becky, no, I think I might have felt differently had, SummerSlam come on before AEW Rampage, but the fact that it was the day after, I was done.
As they say, we were so amped from Friday.
Yeah. There was nothing that WWE could have done.
But that was SmackDown, that was SummerSlam, and in its completion. So next up, we had Takeover 36 on Sunday. Dirty.
All right, let's get to it here real quick. Start off the show, it was Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight. The stipulation was if LA Knight won, then DiBiase was going to have to be his butler. Great match. DiBiase got involved at the end. The ref was distracted. He ended up putting the sleeper, a.k.a. the $1 Million Dream, on LA Knight. Then he threw him in the ring for Cameron to hit the Cayman. And he wins the $1 Million belt. And he is now the $1 Million champion. So, that was pretty cool. Big pop there.
Loved it.
Yep. I kind of figured that's where we were going. And I'll talk about my view of it later when we get to the picks here shortly. Next up was Dakota Kai and Raquel. I think we all knew what was going to happen here, but man, this was a great video package to open this up. Like, I wasn't really interested too much in this match, and I kind of watched the background, the story of what was going on, and so I was instantly in it. So it was an awesome match. Raquel wins with the Chikota bomb off the top rope. And then after the match, Kaylee Ray, former NXT Women's Champion, shows up.
NXT UK.
UK, yep. They're going.
That's who she. Okay, because I was lost for a second. I was like, who is?
She's she held the NXT UK Women's Championship for like over 600 days.
Yeah, it was like a really long time. So, all right. Next up was the match of the night for me: Walter versus Ilya Dragunov.
Oh my God, yes!
This was absolutely amazing match. Probably the most. Just, man, hard. Put what I wrote here. Exactly what I thought this match would be. It was an excellent rematch, super hard-hitting fight. The clotheslines Walter was giving Ilya, and the top, holy shit, is what I wrote.
Dude, his whole area right here is just, I want to see today's picture.
Yeah, I bet it's just burger.
But as Volkanovski would say, that was a cracker of a fight.
Yeah,
it was a banger, dude. That was my match of the night as well.
Yeah, Ilya wins by tap out to the sleeper hold on.
That's something I want to talk about. How about that?
Yeah, unexpected.
How about that finish? Yeah. That caught me. I was like, oh!
Yeah.
Because the way he just picks him up in that sleeper, and then he's like...
He taps on the way up. Like, yeah.
That was match of the weekend for me. Not just match of the night, but that beat out Seth and Edge for like my favorite match.
Oh yeah, it was definitely 100%.
By far,
I love how he was holding the belt up, saying "Long live the Tsar."
Yeah.
Like, that was good wrestling stuff right there.
Yes, it was.
Next up, a best 2 out of 3 falls match, keeping the streak alive. Nobody has ever won by 2 straight falls.
Nope, never.
The streak still stays alive, so good wrestling point on that one. Next up, like I said, 2 out of 3 falls. Kyle O'Reilly, Cool Kyle, versus Adam Cole,
baby.
I wonder what's going to happen to him.
Exciting match. You know, the story going in was Adam Cole's contract coming up here shortly, being done. That was kind of in the back of my head throughout this match here, so I kind of figured like Kyle was going to go over. Kyle wins the 3rd fall by submission. This was a classic Adam Cole match, you know, and he gets Cole to tap out in an ankle lock while he is handcuffed to the ropes. So that's how that. So speculation is coming up about, you know, what's going to happen with Adam Cole. So we shall see.
Adam Cole to AEW confirmed.
All right, next up, our main event, Samoa Joe, which just in Samoa,
Joe.
Oh, it's where in Samoa they call him Joe?
Samoa they call him Joe.
Maybe Joseph.
Just like the Samoan drop in Samoa.
It's called a drop.
Like in Ireland, it's just a car bomb.
Yep. So Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross for the NXT Heavyweight Championship. Karrion Kross walking to the ring with "We Want Scarlet" chants coming out by the CWC.
That's been happening for like a week, a couple weeks now.
Which I don't know, man. The CWC crowd just didn't really do it for me tonight. But anyway, lots of chokeholds back and forth. You know, hard hitting battle. It didn't go as long as I thought it was going to go. But
I don't think
anyway,
so either.
No, it was like 20 minutes.
Yeah, Joe ends up winning the NXT title for a record 3rd time.
Muscle Buster.
Surprise, the Muscle Buster.
Yeah, brought it back.
Isn't that the move that hurt Tyson Kidd, I believe, possibly, allegedly, I believe. Might have been the last time he used it. Or not long after that, he quit using it, I believe. So anyway, so that is back. Awesome to see. And Joe is champion again for the 3rd time, a record 3rd time.
Yep.
And he's back on top, man. But I thought this was an awesome show to end the weekend, man. I liked it.
I did too. I was a big fan of of NXT. It made SummerSlam look silly. I'm glad they put it on last as opposed to on Saturday. I thought that was just the right decision. And that's how I think that's how predictable SummerSlam was, which you'll see just how predictable SummerSlam was when we go over these results here in a second. But I thought it was the greatest decision to put NXT on last because it was such a better show, just in terms of match quality and storylines, and everything was just better about it.
Yeah,
I was pleased with Takeover.
Yeah, I agree. Great decision. And yeah, I mean, they did. That was the right move. I mean, we talked about it last week when I said that, you know, everybody's trying to say that all the NXT releases is them trying to kill NXT, but then you see this, and NXT is put on Sunday ahead of the biggest party of the summer, and not only does it, you know, is it on the, you know, the main pay-per-view day, but it freaking delivers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
In a major way.
To Raw and NXT to finish up our recap.
Raw.
Last
Boy.
week. Monday Night Raw, Primo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Briefly, can go
Yeah.
Not much happened.
Bobby Lashley arrives to the ring with MVP. They give kudos to Goldberg for being a worthy challenger and had a good showing against the Almighty. But all he did was anger the Almighty and got the holy hell beat out of him, as what MVP says. Goldberg, and they say Goldberg quit, and that makes him a coward. And then his son attacked the Almighty from behind like a coward, and he was put out too.
Nice.
I agree with them, by the way.
Yeah, I do too.
He would do that to anyone in the building, but no one will step up because they're all cowards. And then I put, and this is a question. I put a question mark after this. I said, he gets interrupted by Damian Priest.
Damian Priest?
Yeah, that was a little odd.
And then he challenges Lashley to a match. Then the match gets interrupted by Sheamus, and Almighty Bobby Lashley and Sheamus beat down Priest until McIntyre sticks his nose where it don't belong.
Was there a question mark after that as well?
No, that was more. There was more of an eye roll there. And I said, now we have ourselves a tag team match, player.
Holla.
Very unenthusiastic hand flaps.
Priest and McIntyre win after the Almighty decides to cut his losses and bounce.
Oh my God, I hated this.
Now let's talk about this real quick. Ricochet versus Karrion Kross.
Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Now, Karrion Kross, unfortunately, wins again, but it's against Ricochet, so okay. But not only did he win, let's talk about the other elephant in the room regarding Kross.
It ain't the elephant in the room. It's the only thing you guys have on Karrion. He put over Joe in NXT. Now he's coming out looking like Demolition 2.0.
He put over Joe.
He put over Joe?
Yeah.
That young upstart
put over
Joe
to go to the big. I didn't say he's putting over a rookie, but he put over Joe as champ.
Then he went to the wrestling gear shop and he's like, "What do you have in a sex gimp outfit?"
I hate this. No way.
He has nipple.
Listen. This isn't his choice. This is somebody putting this on him.
I feel like, because, you hear all these stories and, Vince McMahon's like, we're going to do this. Yes. And they're just do I have to? And that's why Ross does. They're like, you got to do this gimmick for a while, kid.
Give him a gimp mask and put some suspenders across his nipples.
Yeah. No, this can't happen.
But it did. And it's Sean Connery from Zardoz. It is the greatest thing.
To be one of the best heels, and
they are not doing them justice. I'll say that.
Oh no!
All right,
I did not. Y'all know I hated this.
I know. We had our laughs.
I wanted to turn my TV off.
Next up, we had the Moist must-see television show, Moist TV, with, for some reason, guest Logan Paul. Logan Paul gets booed the whole time.
They booked him as a babyface.
While bashing other fighters, Miz interjects and asks what round Woodley's going to knock out Jake Paul. Afterwards, Miz and Johnny Drip start arguing before Xavier Woods interrupts for his match against Miz. By the way, you guys like Woods' ring gear this weekend?
Who's?
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods. No, I didn't even notice it. What was it?
He was doing Razor Ramon. He had razor blades all over him.
Oh, did he?
When he came out,
yeah.
And he had the toothpick, and he had gold chains when he came out for the Super Soaker 2000 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He did the he did the survey.
Yeah. So anyway, Woods defeats Miz. Then Miz turns on Morrison and attacks him. Serious Miz is back.
Oh yeah.
Finally, I'm a big fan of Miz, so I like this. I am done with the comedy crap. All right, Miz, time to get back in there and grind.
Tired of these Moist segments.
Yeah, see, I'm excited for John Morrison.
Yeah, I'm also a fan. I'm ready for him to get back to what he does. I'm ready for him. Back in. It doesn't have to be against Jeff Hardy, but him and Jeff Hardy, legendary tag ladder matches. Mm-hmm. He used to. You know what I'm getting at. Anyway,
do we know if Jeff's woken up yet from Karrion Kross?
No, he's still.
We haven't seen him. We have not seen him.
If he's lucky, he did not wake up to see Karrion Kross in that outfit.
Well, maybe that's what happened. That's what put him in the coma was sex gimp Karrion Kross
here for the guy.
I mean, somebody needs to do a morale check on Jeff.
Yes.
A wellness check. Anyway, next up we have the Queen. Charlotte Flair arrives with her 12th championship reign.
Yeah.
Someone messed up during this match.
She is the most decorated woman in WWE. Her accomplishments are unparalleled. She said she's starting a new women's evolution. She said, thank her now, thank her later, but don't forget to bow to the Queen. Long live the Queen. She gets interrupted by Alexa Bliss, so Alexa and Lily can say hi.
My God.
No. I don't want.
But this is the program going over.
Yeah.
However, who fucked up in the back where she held her title up and they're like, okay, now play her music and set off her pyro, and then she kept talking.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Like it was so awkward, because pyro goes off, and then she puts the title down. She's like,
but I don't think it was a mess up. I think they really did it that way so she could kind of show her belt off, say I'm the man. Okay, and then let me talk more. But
I didn't.
To cap off the night, we had the new Raw Tag Team Champs, RK Bro, arrive for their championship celebration. Randy looks pretty hesitant to come out and celebrate, but Riddle got Randy a present. He got him his own scooter. He says, I know you've been eyeing mine from a distance. AJ interrupts the celebration. He points out that Randy didn't actually get Riddle anything, but he's got a phenomenal forearm to put across Riddle's face. He said he's going to kick Riddle's butt until they get their tag rematch. Riddle defeats AJ Styles, and then AJ gets RKO'd afterwards, and RK Bro poses to close out the show. That's right.
Hey, bro. Biggest story on Raw right now.
The only thing, and Michael, I know you don't like it, but RK Bro, that was if that wasn't on there, this would have been the worst episode of Raw in like 10 years. I hated this episode so much. RK Bro saved it.
Remember when Raw after WrestleMania, or excuse me, Raw after SummerSlam was almost like Raw after WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Like they were
just completely awesome.
What happened?
I don't
NXT
know.
here, Primo.
All right, NXT happened last night. Opened the show. We got the new $1 Million champion, Cameron Grimes, arriving with Ted DiBiase in tow, and they head out to the ring. DiBiase gives Cameron Grimes praise for becoming the new $1 Million champion. Grimes says that at Takeover 36, he and DiBiase took care of LA Knight together and handled their business. Then Grimes asks, "Where do we go now, Ted?" And they both shout, "To the moon!"
I shouted along with them. Not gonna lie.
As money rains down everywhere.
Pretty cool.
I love how Wade Barrett's just so salty about everything.
Yeah.
This is preposterous.
Those are bad English accents.
Yeah, terrible. Forgive us, everybody in the UK, because we do have a lot of listeners there, by the way. Now, I haven't told you guys that.
Preposterous it is.
Our listenership in the UK is picking up, and we're going to stop with British accents.
Yes, we apologize.
Then later on in the night, Grimes tells DiBiase, he says, "You know what? I'm going to carry on the $1 Million legacy, but you can have the championship back." He hands it to DiBiase because DiBiase's in the limo getting ready to drive off. DiBiase says, "Oh, no, you know what, kid? It's yours." And he hands it back to him. And he's like, "Something's different about this."
Yeah, what's this? It feels lighter.
And DiBiase swerved him and gave him the toy version. This is that damn Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, he's like, that damn DiBiase.
I loved it. It was
great.
Good.
It was great.
We had Ridge Holland versus Timothy Thatcher, Toothless Timmy. Holland wins, then attacks Ciampa and Thatcher with the help of Oney Lorcan and returning Danny Burch.
Cool.
Danny Burch.
Very cool.
2.
He's been out a long time.
Yeah, since we started this show. He got injured like the week after we started the show.
I think I just virtually eye-poked AJ.
Close. Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro versus Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. Caden and Casey end up winning. Kaylee Ray comes out and dominates a matchup. I don't even know who that is that she wrestled.
It was I don't know. By the way, I love Casey Catanzaro. Like I'm a big fan of her.
Yeah, because she's 3 foot, about as tall as you are.
Which one's the one with the colorful hair?
She was the one who was the American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, she climbs the pole.
She's purdy
to get in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's
all I got, really.
Yeah. Okay, so the 3-time NXT champion. Why do I keep doing that? 3-time NXT champion arrives to the ring. He says at Takeover 36, he walked down Karrion Kross. Nobody gave him whatever you said earlier.
Walked him right down.
No, but nobody put him over. He says he walked down Karrion Kross. He's walking down the sex shop. He walked down Karrion Kross and he beat him up and now stands before you a 3-time NXT champ. The only. He says to be the NXT champ is to be the king of the land of savages. He says he's come out to answer one simple question. Who amongst superstars is ready to step up to him? Pete Dunne arrives, which we saw that coming.
Yeah.
He says they've had enough stare downs to know the truth that Joe isn't the baddest around. He tells him to go fetch Regal and make the match. And then Pete Dunne says, "Don't make me provoke you." L.A. Knight arrives. Whose game is it? L.A. Knight's game, baby. So he arrives. Let me talk to you. Nighttime every day is the right time. He says those chills that Joe is experiencing right now, that's called fear, baby. He tells Joe if he has enough tingle in his loins, L.A. Knight is here to be Joe's first challenger. Because whose game is it? L.A. Knight's game, baby.
You know who else has enough tingle in their loins? Karrion Kross.
That's on his nipples. That is one.
His nipples got to be cold.
No, it's the only thing on his torso that's not cold.
They're blanketed.
Cool Kyle arrives, hobbling out, and starts dissing LA Knight, claims to have earned a title match until Ridge Holland comes out and lays him out.
He ripped off Jericho saying everybody's name's wrong.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he said La Knight.
La Knight.
La Knight.
As Dunn and Joe are about to throw down, Ciampa attacks Joe, then Joe takes out Knight. Joe is standing tall in the ring, staring down Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne as they retreat. But backstage, soon afterwards, your man, Duke Hudson, is backstage getting a scuffle with Cool Kyle. They throw down in the back. So there's a program starting right there. So nice. Cool Kyle's not going after the championship. Next up, we have the NXT Breakout Tournament Finale. Carmelo Hayes versus Odyssey Jones. The winner gets a contract to face any champion of their choosing. Carmelo Hayes wins via crucifix pin. He decided that it's too early for him to decide which champion to go after, but when he shoots, he won't miss.
I hope he goes for the $1 Million Championship.
I think he goes to the Cruiserweight.
Why? Why wouldn't he go for the NXT Championship?
It's Samoa Joe, and he's a dangerous man. I could see him going for the North American.
Yeah, I can see him go for the Cruiserweight title.
Either one. Yeah, I can see either one of those.
I'd be okay with both of those programs.
Zion Quinn defeats Boa in an upset victory.
Was it?
Yeah, well, they claimed it to be. Johnny Gargano begs Regal to cancel Indy and Dexter's wedding, but he refuses because he wants to see Johnny go cuckoo bananas. And they argue because Regal's like, it's bananas, and Johnny's like, bananas! In the main event, Legado del Fantasma defeats Hit Row with the assistance of Alexa Lopez.
Yeah, I like this match. This was a good match.
Yeah, it was a good match. And that's how we close out NXT.
All right.
Woo! That was a lot of wrestling.
That is it. Yeah, man, a lot of recap for the week. So let's jump right into our Dropkick discussion of the week. This week is our top 5 favorite Impact wrestlers of all time, or this could be man, woman, manager, any Impact wrestling wrestler or associated, anybody on the show. Our top 5 of all time, as we're going to talk about those here. So, all right, let's get started here. How about you may go first tonight?
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go first. This one's a little off the chain here. I picked
off the chain. I haven't done it in a long time.
I picked one off of the best of the 3. Okay, so my number 5 is Jesse Goddard's. Because I loved him with Robbie E and DJ Z. Like, they were good comedy, man. They were good comedy. I was watching Big Brother during that, so I always liked Jesse Goddard's. I thought he kind of fit the mold of a champion. Quit laughing at my pick.
That's such a good pick, though. Like, that is so unexpected.
I know. That's why we do these, man. Because I love it. I always liked him, man. I kind of thought he should have had a nice pick, or should have had a nice push to get to the title somewhere. So, all right, AJ, number 5.
So, number 5 for me is he was a staple in the X Division, and Sanjay Dutt is just so smooth. Like, this is based on ring acumen alone. He was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
And, like, any match he had, it was just spot. Like, there was never any psychology. There was never any story. It was just, I'm going to do the coolest shit that I possibly can in my time allotted in the X Division matches. And every time he was so smooth, so awesome. So yeah, that's why he's on the list. That alone is why his spots. Sanjay Dutt, number 5.
Good pick.
Number 5, huh? Okay, my number 5 for Impact wrestlers of all time. You ready for this?
Number 5, huh?
We're ready.
Huh?
All right. He weighs in at an astonishingly amazing 235 1/4 pounds, hailing from Green Bay, Wisconsin, Mr. Anderson.
That was pretty good.
Anderson.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He was on my. If I had an honorable mention, he would have been up there. Very cool. Nice. I like that. All right, for me, let's get to our number 4s here. I'm going with the staple. The guy's been there for a long time. He just came back, man. Cowboy James Storm. You know how many times?
Sorry about your damn luck.
Yeah, he was a staple there for a long, long time, and got to put him on my list.
He was awesome. I liked him. Now I'm mad that he's not on my list. I'm not going to switch anyone, but
He almost made my list.
he almost actually a lot of people made and got removed from it. You should see all the scribbles. I had a tough time making this list.
Yeah,
I forgot how awesome a lot of TNA wrestlers were.
yeah. All my guys felt like TNA to me. You know what I mean? Like I
that's what I try to stick to too.
Associate them with another like I tried to stay with guys that really were TNA.
I kind of did, but not really, because that'll lead into my number 4, who was also on WWE. But number 4 for me is Low Ki. Low Ki had like the coolest, like, first of all, his ring stance. He was Cabal when he did the thing with McGillicuddy.
Yeah.
So stupid and awesome.
And he was with the twins.
Yes, he was. He's the one who won the shot at any title that he wanted, because he won the whatever season of NXT.
Yeah.
And he picked the Intercontinental title, and then he lost, and then he's like, "Oh, well, I'm fucking off then."
Yeah.
But he was so cool. Like he has like that video game pose that he was like a video game character.
He looks like he's in Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Yes, that's why I loved him so much.
Yeah.
And he like his. Did you guys ever hear him talk?
Yeah, he's a
like
super
this.
deep voice.
Yeah, and he's like a tiny guy.
Yeah.
But I just thought he was awesome. Like his moveset, again, a lot like Sanjay Dutt in the ring. He just did all kinds of cool moves, cool kicks. I like the warrior way that he did. Like it was basically a coup de grace. So yeah, that's why.
Basically.
That's why Loki is my number 4.
Pick. That's you dug that one out. I like that. All right, number 4 for me. So I like this guy because, I'm a fan of his wherever he's gone, but he's a part of one of the most legendary tag teams of all time. But in TNA, he really evolved himself, and he became a super heel, and that is Bully Ray. I really liked what he became in TNA. He just became like, a no-nonsense, punchy-in-the-mouth heel. And I liked a lot of the feuds he was in, and I just really enjoyed his evolution there.
I didn't like his Aces and Eights faction. Like that was really the only thing I didn't like from him. But apart from that, I agree. He's awesome.
I think I was one of the few people in the world that did like that.
That did like Aces and Eights.
All right, so let's get to our top 3 here. For me, at number 3 is he had one of the biggest storylines in TNA history. Delete.
Very good.
Matt Hardy coming in at number 3 for me.
Yes.
I knew you.
Obsolete.
Right. It was a big storyline at the time. He got people watching. That and got watching TNA. So Matt Hardy had to be on my list for number 3.
So my number 3 is we've talked about her before. She's the person who basically made women's wrestling what it is today. Gail Kim is my number 3 because not only was she fun to look at, she was just so talented in the ring. Got to throw that in there.
It's really nice to look at.
She was fun to see.
Yeah,
but she made women's wrestling, basically. She was the first ever TNA champion.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, she's awesome.
And she was just always solid in the ring, and without her, there would be no Charlotte Flair.
She was on both of our women's lists.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3.
Shout out, Gail. My number 3. He's one of the ones. My next 3 helped build TNA. And this guy, he's a Ring of Honor alumni.
Hulk Hogan.
Which actually these next 3 are also Ring of Honor alumni. But
nice.
This guy just became a 3-time NXT champion, and that man is Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. I'm going to piggyback on that because that is actually my number 2, Primo. Yeah, I mean, he is one of the biggest. I mean, we knew Joe at TNA before we knew him anything else, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's where he broke out, made his name. He's one. He
used to have the paint on his face.
Yes,
the one that kind of looked like it was kind of wienery shaped a little bit.
Yeah. He's one of the core pillars of TNA.
It was almost like Lord Tensai.
It was like Lord Tensai.
So all right. So that was Primo's 3. My number 2, AJ number 2.
So number 2 is George Washington, my most trusted confidant, Broken Matt Hardy. He made
my most trusted confidant.
It's a giraffe. Like, he took a giraffe and named it George Washington and fed it carrots and made it his most trusted confidant.
He said, A-Train. Sweet.
He got over a drone.
Matt Hardy, that's the first time that he's ever really been allowed creative, just freedom to do whatever the hell it was what he wanted to do, and he killed it.
Yeah.
So,
Brother Nero,
I knew you'd come.
Always love. There's like a GIF to the GIF, whatever you call it. Remember him riding on the lawnmower? Like, I love it. I love it.
Great. He could do no wrong as Broken Matt Hardy, in my opinion. So that's my number 2.
Good.
My number 2 is the greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries.
Very good.
Nice. I just seen him. He popped up somewhere on.
One of my favorite. He does the running drop kick into the corner better than Daniel Bryan.
I agree. He does.
Nice.
Also, I love his corkscrew elbow thing that he does. That's awesome too.
I've always really enjoyed watching him in TNA or Impact, whatever you want to call it. But I wasn't a fan that his WWE run did not work out.
Yeah, it made me sad.
But yeah, he's just really awesome. I think he's not as rated as he should be.
I agree.
Even he did get a world title run, so
yeah,
he did actually. And both Austin Aries and Samoa Joe were on my list, but then I had to take them off for the other ones that were. This was hard. There's so many good.
This was hard. We're gonna wrap it up here because I think we're all up as.
Who saw my Instagram today?
On number 1. Agreement on number 1. So, all right, number 5 for me, Jesse Goddard. 4, James Storm. 3, Matt Hardy. 2, Samoa Joe. For me, at number 1, I think you guys probably are there too. AJ Styles.
Get ready to fly.
TNA. He is Mr. TNA. He was in all the big storylines. I know you guys. Sounds like you guys are the same at number 1 yet.
So number 5, Sanjay Dutt. Number 4, Low Key. Number 3, Gail Kim. Number 2, Broken Matt Hardy. Number 1, the phenomenal Me Styles. AJ Styles.
AJ Styles.
Go ahead, Primo.
I'm right there with these guys. AJ Styles is my number 1. I'll go 5-1. Mr. Anderson, Bully Ray, Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, and AJ Styles, the phenomenal one.
This is the first time all 3 of us have agreed on our number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's this one is understandable. He had to be.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. So that is our Dropkick discussion of the week.
None of us said Jeff Jarrett.
Next week, we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite entrance music of all time. Real quick, guys, I want to throw out some names that we did not say. Maybe some guys you forgot. Here we go. Sabu, Kurt Angle, RVD, Drew Galloway, Matt Morgan.
The Blueprint.
Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley.
They were on mine too, and then I took them off.
Jerry Lynn, Chris Daniels.
Jerry Lynn.
Abyss, EC3. Eli Drake. Awesome Kong. Eric Young.
I thought you said EY a second ago, but yeah, EY, yeah, Eric Young.
And then Glorious.
How
I won't give in.
TNA was stacked. Like they had so much talent, and yet they were utter nonsense most of the time.
All right, so let's
not to mention Sting.
Oh yeah, Sting.
Not to mention Sting. Yeah, not to mention Sting. Yeah, of course.
Oh, and of course your boy Jeff Hardy. But let's not forget.
Yeah, I purposely did not put him on here.
I was really wondering if you were going to put Jeff Hardy on there. See him like just smacked out of his face on drugs against Sting.
Victory Road 2012, not a good look.
Let's get to the rest of the podcast here. I want to thank everybody for listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Prime Music, Audible, and now on SportsWire.com online radio live Fridays at 6:45 Eastern Time. All right, let's get to the sit down Marks trophy here, if you don't mind displaying it there proudly, Primo.
Here is what you could win if you win the picks.
All right, so what we did was we had 15 matches to choose from over the weekend. Now, whoever got the most picks right would win the SmackDown, or why I keep saying it, the sit down Marks trophy. So whoever had the best picks would end up winning. So Primo was the defending champion from WrestleMania. We only defended at the Big Four pay-per-views, but we're going to probably be adding some AEW pay-per-views in there too. So, okay, let's get to it. So we're picking 15 matches between NXT and WWE. We already know the results of all the matches. So, okay, finishing third is yours truly. I missed out of 15. I missed 3 matches because we end up throwing out the Sasha Banks Bianca Belair match because it ended up not folding the way.
We all picked the same one there anyway.
We all picked the same one.
Yeah, we did.
I would have thrown that out anyway, even if we had all picked differently, just because, anyway. All right, so the ones that I missed LA Knight because I thought, okay, maybe if they go a little bit, they could continue this storyline. It would still be funny if DiBiase was LA's Butler, but like we talked about earlier, it was a very predictable weekend. I think we all knew who won. I just tried to pick a couple that I thought would change up the game that I maybe thought would go the other way. I did pick Jinder. I thought maybe he would get a win over Drew because I seen all these baby faces winning. So basically, no heel got the rub over the weekend.
I mean,
except maybe Roman,
the heavyweight champions, yeah,
Bobby Lashley. Yep. And then the other match that I thought maybe I picked Nikki. So those were the 3 that I kind of thought would waver. So all right, so the trophy comes down to 2 people. It comes down to defending champion Primo and AJ. Okay, so let me tell you how this came down. Like I said, 15 matches, okay? These guys both picked the exact same picks except for one match.
We are the same person.
That one match was Lashley and Goldberg, and that was our tiebreaker match as well because I made them pick the time of the match, okay? So AJ picked Goldberg. Why? I don't know. But he picked Goldberg, kind of the same way with me. You're just thinking they're going to flip the other way.
I just had a terrible feeling that Goldberg was going to win.
So
that's why I picked it.
Had AJ picked Lashley, he would have won because the time of the match ended up being 7 minutes and 11 seconds.
And I picked 3.5 minutes.
Goldberg, he picked 3.5 minutes. Primo was all the way up at 12 minutes, 45 seconds. I had 9 minutes, 49 seconds.
Here's why I did that. So there was a science behind my time. I looked up Goldberg's longest match ever. And his longest match ever was like around 14 minutes.
Yeah. Is that William Regal?
And it was, they were against bigger guys like Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, stuff like that. So I was like, well, Bobby Lashley's a bigger guy, and they're not going to squash Bobby Lashley. So that's why I picked 12 minutes, closer to that top end.
Very clever.
The one mistake AJ made ended up costing him the trophy, and still your sit-down Marks trophy champion Primo will hold on for the next pay-per-view. Obviously, he has his days counting down. It is 135 days now as the sit-down Marks trophy champion. Congratulations, Primo. He got every one right.
Yeah,
clean swept the weekend, baby.
Clean sweep.
Swept the weekend.
That's why I'm the champ.
So he will continue marking out for himself for a long time until one of us possibly can take that away from him.
By the way, when I became champion, I didn't sign a contract for AEW.
All right, so congratulations, Primo. You'll have to put that thing up. I guess scheduled next would be Survivor Series.
Yeah.
We're going to add some AEW pay-per-views in there, too, so it gets put up a little more frequent. So congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Good effort, guys. It is a good effort.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Better luck next time.
Bunch of losers over here in
didn't win a free Coke today.
Loser, Illinois. All right, next up, let's talk about, man, we're in the middle of another wrestling explosion, I feel, right now, guys. I mean, there's a lot going on right now, man, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. Not be a part of it, but just to be watching it, man, because I feel like a little bit of the needle's moving, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have
especially after this weekend.
Yeah, we have somewhat of a wrestling war going on, or at least the start of it.
Not according to Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's never going to acknowledge the competitor.
He's in a bit of denial about the whole situation.
So, does Brock and Becky returning, you guys think, help sustain WWE's virtual punch that they're kind of taking from AEW right now? Because they got a big black eye right now. But does Brock and Becky move the needle as far as as staying on the same level?
Nope. I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Brock and Becky gave me a reason to watch SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think Brock is going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a full-time guy. Right. He won't be there every weekend. And so it's just, no.
And they didn't start by booking Becky the best. That's way too much alliteration in one sentence. The way they booked her return, that soured a lot of. I mean, I know a lot of people are feeling very sour about that booking, so I don't think it does.
It wasn't her decision, and Bianca it definitely wasn't Bianca's decision, but somewhere along the lines they had to audible at the last second, and now they're going to scramble and pick up the pieces and try to make something out of it.
Yeah. Next pay-per-view for WWE is Extreme Rules, so maybe a little TLC ladder match or something, maybe. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. All right,
I'm not excited about anything WWE is doing right now. I'm excited about everything that NXT and AEW are doing.
I would have been excited if Bobby would have beat Goldberg clean and we didn't have to see him.
Plus, they're getting ready to go to Saudi Arabia, and I despise those Saudi Arabian
shows. I don't enjoy those either.
No, so
at all.
I'm not looking forward to anything WWE.
Goldberg doesn't do well in Saudi Arabia.
No, he doesn't.
All right, real quick before we finish up the show, guys, I know we're going to see CM Punk, Darby Allin, but real quick, who you guys want to see CM Punk lock up with first?
MJF.
Okay. Oh, first?
Oh, yeah, first couple feuds.
Darby Allin for sure. Obviously, I'd like to see him have a mic battle with MJF.
That would be pretty amazing.
And wrestle. I mean,
I want to see him wrestle like. I don't know because I want to say because I'm
if DB and Cole go there.
Yeah, and I want to be a nerd and just be like immediately like Omega. But that is I want to see
Daniel Garcia.
Daniel Garcia would be very cool.
Yeah.
I want to see Dante Martin. I think Punk would do a lot of good things for Dante Martin.
Hangman Page.
Yes,
would be awesome.
First be Hangman.
Hangman.
I'd like to see him, eventually go with Miro. I think that would be good. Too.
That would be good.
I want to see Cole and DB, obviously, if they both show up there. But honestly, just for the kind of weirdness of it, like Malachi Black.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that would be actually that's who I want next. Is
and
Black.
It reminds me of that because Primo sent the picture.
Yeah, when I sent that, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
but that one.
Yep, awesome.
Oh well, Moxley.
Yeah.
They wrestled before, but it's a different Moxley.
Sure. Yep. Sure. I mean, all the matchups I like. I mean, Punk's on my TV, so.
I mean, I'm just gonna be happy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thrilled that he's there.
Yep. All right, boys. It's time to close the show. Primo, tell me, man, where can you get the Sit Down Marks podcast?
You can get the Sit Down Marks podcast, obviously right here on Twitch, but also on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Prime Music, Audible, and also on SportzWire Online Radio, which is at sportnarium.com, 6:45 Eastern Standard Time on Fridays.
All right. Couple quick little notes here to finish up the show. Want to give a big shout out one more time to my boy Brian Battle out there in Charlotte, North Carolina. He is fighting for the Ultimate Fighter Championship this coming Saturday night. He's fighting against Gilbert Urbina. He was supposed to be fighting Trayshawn Gore. He backed out due to an injury, so he is now fighting Gilbert Urbina. So Brian Battle, man, let's go. Let's win this thing, brother. Ultimate Fighter, man.
This Saturday, right?
This Saturday night.
Yes, sir. I'm ready for that.
It's on ESPN. Definitely. So we definitely got to check that out and support him there. So, all right, AJ, tell me, man, what's going on next week's podcast?
Next week, we have the return, first and foremost, of my brother, not my brother. Michael is going to be on the show with us, which is
yay! Love when Michael's on.
Going to be fun.
He should play Squared Circle also.
I agree that he should.
Sure.
Or not, because then I'll lose, and then we're also going to have a triple berry threat pie eating contest next week.
Apparently.
What I've heard.
Apparently, yeah.
Also, I was forced into this.
Also, next week we have our Dropkick discussion. Will be our top 5 favorite entrance musics of all time. That is going to be a rough one to whittle down as well.
Yep.
Apart from that, what else do we have going on next week?
Well, there's next week.
What's happening?
Well, we got, like I said, top 5 favorite entrance music. Guest Michael on the show. That's really about all that's happening next week. But AJ, there's a little rumor going around here with the Sit Down Marks podcast. You want to let everybody know?
So, rumor has it that your boys, the Marks, have been trying to do some things, trying to move up in the podcast world as it was.
We are.
And so,
do that, dude.
Our host there, Dirty Bird, pulled a little swerve on us, and coming to an episode soon, we have booked one Levi Cooper. In case you Marks don't know who that is, it is former WWE and NXT superstar, one half of Heavy Machinery. Tucker is going to be on this show. We are going to interview Tucker from Heavy Machinery. Holy shit. I cannot believe that.
Yes, sir. He's going to be on the show in the middle of September.
Be there.
13. We're going to do the show live right here on Twitch. We're going to interview Tucker Knight, also known as Big Tucky from Heavy Machinery. He is a former WWE and NXT superstar. So exciting times, boys.
Tell your friends. You're listening to this right now. You got a couple weeks to tell your friends or whoever you want to listen with you so that we can go ahead and spread the message and get everybody to listen to this interview.
Yep. It's going to be so much fun. We're probably going to be giant nerds about it because that's what we are. And we're going to talk to someone who was in the WWE, and it's going to be unbelievable. Can't wait. Tune in all the time so you can catch it.
That's right. So that one's going to be in September. We got some other awesome interviews coming up here. We'll be releasing those in the next couple weeks. But speaking of interviews, stay tuned. Right after the pod coming up here right now, we got our interview with a Nightmare Factory graduate and Santino Bros graduate, Ishmael Vaughn. Go check him out, man, as we had a nice little conversation here right after the pod. So stay tuned. Ishmael Vaughn interview coming up right now, right after the pod. AJ, bring us home, Daddy.
So you know who likes to grab them cakes? I hear that Ishmael Vaughn likes to grab them cakes. In any case, grab them cakes.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sit Down Marks podcast. This is the Dirty Bird. I got a really cool special interview here for you today. Ishmael Vaughn is on the podcast here for the first time. He is a graduate of the Santino Bros Wrestling Academy down there in like South Los Angeles. And then also he is wearing that Nightmare Factory jacket proudly today as he is a graduate of the Nightmare Factory as well. So welcome to the show for the first time, Ishmael Vaughn. Welcome, man.
Thank you, DB. I appreciate you having me on. I'm excited to get going today.
Yeah, man, I am too, man. I'm super pumped, man. I'm excited to talk a little wrestling with somebody. You know, we got a big wrestling weekend going on right now. You know, CM Punk just showed up. Summerslam just happened last night, man. Big, huge festivities going on right now, man. It's exciting.
It is. It's been an exciting year for wrestling. 2021 has brought back a lot of people, as you can see.
Yeah, it definitely has, man. I'm excited to talk to you, man, about what's going on in your world right now, man. But right off the bat, man, let's just talk about it. Ishmael, introduce everybody to yourself here and all of our brand new listeners that might be listening to you talk about your career here for the first time.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. My name is Ishmael Vaughn. I was born in Cameroon, Africa, grew up in Oakland, California my whole life in the Bay Area. I had the opportunity to attend Santino Bros Wrestling Academy in Los Angeles and train at the Nightmare Factory. My pro wrestling journey, I want to say, started off with me just as a little kid watching professional wrestling. My first introduction to it was Undertaker and Randy Orton and having the opportunity to see them wrestle. Wow. And it just made me become inspired by this world. And that's what made me want to really get into it, was just watching everything that I saw on TV. And I was like, that's so cool. So one day I was like, I have to do it myself. And that's how I got into professional wrestling. And then my journey continues from there.
Right. Oh, man. Awesome, man. I always like to hear, you know, like what, you know, jump started, what, you know, got the imagination flowing of why, you know, what makes a wrestler want to be a wrestler, you know, and you saying stuff like that is just, you know, it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like you said, you know, it was Undertaker and RKO. For everybody, it's something different. You know, for a lot of people, it's some of the same things, man. But, you know, to hear you say Undertaker and RKO and to still see, you know, what they're doing now, you know, is really cool. You know, I mean, the way this crazy world is you might get a chance to wrestle them one day, man, you know, like that's awesome.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what can happen these days in the world of professional wrestling.
I know, man. And that's kind of like what's great about it. So, all right. So, like I said, we said you were a graduate of Santino Bros Wrestling Academy and the Nightmare Factory. So, you know, since you've chosen these schools and graduated, man, how has this elevated your love of wrestling now that you've learned from a couple different schools? You're really honing your craft. Like, how has that affected, you know, your love of wrestling and making you even wanting to do it more now?
Yeah, having the opportunity to train at Santino Bros Wrestling Academy and the Nightmare Factory has elevated my love for professional wrestling by a lot. I remember the first time being back in a pro wrestling ring, stepping into the Santino Bros ring. I was like, this is where I belong. This is where I want to be. I can't wait to get started. Santino Bros, they train you for a year. That's how long their program is. So it's very instructive, and they get down to the nitty-gritty on how to actually be a professional wrestler. And that's what I really loved about Santino Bros, was just learning the art and the craft of how we do what we do inside the ring, keeping each other safe, but also putting on a great performance for the fans. And then at the Nightmare Factory, it was a little bit different. you learn how to wrestle there too. But I want to say the Nightmare Factory, they really focused on bringing characters out and bringing characters alive through promo work. I felt that a lot at the Nightmare Factory, and I felt like that's where Ishmael Vaughn was born. That's where my character was discovered, and me having the opportunity to go out there and do something great, learn from some of the best in the business between Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall, and all the AEW talent that stopped by to help us out as well. So it really just showed me that if you put in the work, you put in the hard work, you can be where they can be at someday.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all seeing that play out on TV right now, with AEW, getting a lot of those guys, and, it's the hottest wrestling in the game right now. And a lot of it has to do with some of those guys that are coming out of those schools, so really love to see it. I feel like we're going through a little bit of a wrestling boom right now, and it might not even be a little bit, Ishmael. It might be a big bit,
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. All right. So where are you wrestling at now, man? What regions, what promotions are you using at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm wrestling in between Southern California and Northern California. So since I made my professional wrestling debut at the Nightmare Factory, I've had the opportunity to work with my home location back here at Santino Bros Wrestling Academy, doing up all night student shows. We're planning to go live with those shows very soon, bringing back the audience. I had the opportunity to travel up to Northern California, where I'm originally from, Oakland, and work with East Bay Pro Wrestling up there. And I had the opportunity to work with SPW in Sacramento. And then I had the opportunity, I didn't get to work in the ring with them, but I got the opportunity to ring crew with them and just meet people with West Coast Pro. So I've been working in between both Northern California and Southern California, both of those.
Nice to see you already out there getting that work in, man, putting that work on, beating up those promotions, man, getting out there, man. I like to see it. Love to see it already. And also Nightmare Factory, you guys are running matches on, I believe it's YouTube now, on the YouTube channel, right? Correct?
That is correct. So you probably saw we have 3 of them out right now, 3 student showcases. My class was showcase number 3 and the previous 2 before us.
Yeah, nice.
And those have gotten a lot of views.
So where does the inspiration of the Ishmael Vaughn character gimmick, so to speak, what's that being influenced by? Like what's all that? How's that all being put together?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the name Ishmael Vaughn came from my real life nickname, which is Ish. Ish was a nickname given to me by my high school football team, actually, because they couldn't pronounce my real name. My real name is actually Korean, and it's Hyowon. It's a complicated name for people to pronounce on the first try. My football team didn't even try, so they just gave me the nickname Ish. It stuck with me all throughout college, throughout sports, so I took Ishmael. And then Vaughn is the last name with the family that I currently live with right now here in Los Angeles. It was my best friend from college. We played football together. And his family heard about my professional wrestling dream and how I wanted to move down here to train at Santino Bros. Sure. And they were like, well, you can come live with us while you train and do the independent circuit.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's great. I'll pay you guys rent and everything. Thanks for having me. They were like, no, you don't have to pay us rent. We just want to see you chase your dream. So as like a dedication.
Wow, that is support right there, man. Wow.
That is support. And
that's a great story.
So that's why I decided to do Ishmael Vaughn, because Devon is their last name. So I just made it Ishmael Vaughn as a dedication to them, because without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. They just wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, that's a great tip of a cap. I'm glad I asked that question. I had no idea asking that, like what you would say. That's probably the best answer you could have possibly given, man. I love it. That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So that's the inspiration for the name. As far as the character goes, the character is a mixture of Eric Killmonger from Black Panther. So if you look at his story, he's from Oakland, California, grew up like in a really rough neighborhood. I come from a very similar background and I really identified with that. So I was like, okay, you're from Oakland. The character's from Oakland. Let's do this little Eric Killmonger vibe with Dragon Ball Z, which is my favorite anime. My favorite Dragon Ball Z is Vegeta. So if you look at my ring outfit, a couple of people have already picked it up that it's a resemblance of Saiyan armor. So I kind of took the Eric Killmonger vibe with the Vegeta vibe, which are very similar vibes if you look at both of their characters, and blended into one.
Nice. I like it. I do have a picture up on screen right now. If you're watching the video live here of your outfit here, and the other guys on the podcast, they are Dragon Ball Z fans, and I think they kind of picked out some of that. So they were definitely seeing the inspiration there. So really cool, man. And I'll tell you what, man, I was looking at the name. I mean, IV sounds like a pretty good chant. Like IV, IV.
Yep. I've already got a couple of those.
Yeah, I like it, man. It works. It works pretty well. So I love it, man. All right, so we talked about your early influences as being like Randy, Undertaker. Anybody in WCW? Anybody? Anybody in the Southern wrestling era from back in those days? Nitro.
No, it's funny you mentioned that, because me and my friend, we traveled out to the Nightmare Factory together, and his gimmick is more like Glacier's. And Glacier was also one of the coaches at the Nightmare Factory. And we both watched Glacier while we were training at Santino Bros, because my tag team partner, his name is Kid Bandit, and he has the ninja gimmick just like Glacier too. So we watched him a lot. And we had the opportunity to work with Glacier and actually talk to Glacier down at the Nightmare Factory. And he was very
a little bit there.
Yeah, he has a lot of stories, a lot of knowledge, a lot of advice. He's been doing this for a very long time.
Sure.
Telling us about his time at WCW and having to get that gimmick over.
Yes, that was a big. I grew up in the South, North Carolina, WCW, NWA, like that was what was on TV, So I, absolutely know Glacier. Yeah, that was a big gimmick at the time, with the snow coming through the lights, and it was pretty amazing, and that is cool, man. I actually did not know he was down there training. So shout out to Glacier for putting it back in the young guys, man. I love it. So Ishmael, who is the ultimate dream match? Everybody's got one, man. If you got to pick one, who's the one?
It would be my personal favorite wrestler of all time, John Cena. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he doesn't retire before I get there, but that would be the ultimate dream match, is just to go against someone that I admired as a little kid watching. Yeah. And as a little kid, I would never thought that you might one day have the opportunity to face John Cena. That would be a dream match for me.
I tell you, man, as good as he looks, he's probably going to wrestle another 30 years, man. I think he got plenty of time, man. He looks great, man. He looks great. So, I don't know if you've dabbled much in the tag team era as much so far since graduating, but who would be the dream tag team partner? Like, who would you want next to you holding up the belts?
Dream tag team partner.
I mean, honestly, it can be a singles guy. It doesn't have to be a tag team wrestler. I mean, let's throw Cena out, like next to Cena, obviously, but.
Next to Cena, a dream tag team partner. It would probably be, I would say, Austin Theory, who's currently in NXT right now.
Sweet.
The reason why I say Austin Theory is because I had the opportunity to meet him at a WWE tryout. We really clicked. We really bonded in our group. And I really admired how far he come in such a short amount of time. And just his passion and dedication to the world of pro wrestling and where he wanted to be. He set goals for himself. He established those goals, and he achieved them. So that was something that I did for myself. I was like, you got to be more like Austin Theory. You got to set goals for yourself, establish them, and achieve them. And you can be where he's at one day.
Yeah, definitely, man. I watched him come up through the ranks, too. I went to a couple of Evolve shows when he was the champion, for Evolve. And he was, I think he was trained in the Atlanta area, if I'm not correct.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So I've seen him wrestle a lot, and I love seeing him on the big stage too. So cool story there. So what wrestling? What all the wrestling are you watching now, Ishmael? Are you? I mean, obviously you're watching WWE and AEW, but what are some other promotions you're checking out on TV?
I would say other promotions I'm checking out on TV is. I know WWE Network, they moved their channel to Peacock. So what I've been trying to do just to help myself study and be a better wrestler and what I want to do in the ring is I've been digging in the Peacock library, trying to find other matches that I can watch from like the older days. I know back in Santino Bros, my coaches harped on a lot. I know you guys like to watch new wrestling these days, but a lot of you guys need to go back and watch the older wrestling because it's a lot slower. and a lot more fundamentally sound. So that's what I try to do with my wrestling these days. Is I watch the newer wrestling too, but I try to go back and study tape from older matches.
Nice.
And it's not any one particular promotion in general. It's just like I would pick wrestlers. Like, okay, well, who do you want to base your style off of?
Gotcha.
And then I'll like research their old matches.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, man. And, you know, awesome that we live in a world these days where we can have all those matches basically at our fingertips to check out anybody, anytime, any place, and like I love it, man. Like I would have loved to had all this when I was growing up. I was getting my dad's old PWI magazines after he got done reading them. Because he would, about a month later, I would always ask him, Dad, you read your PWI magazine yet? So that was the only time I ever got to really see anything like that. So really cool that we can do that. So, all right, man, let's talk about some other things outside of the ring. Ishmael, do you have any other loves other than wrestling?
Other than wrestling, I'm a huge video game fan. I was actually playing video games before this interview.
What we playing?
So right now I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which is an old PS4 game that I was recently, a couple of months ago, brought into. And it's quickly become like my favorite video game of all time. I just got my hands on a PlayStation 5 a couple of days ago, so I have Demon Souls.
Are you all PlayStation guy? You all PlayStation?
For the most part, yeah. I play Xbox every now and then. In our household, we have every single system.
Oh, yeah, okay,
in my room, personally, I have a PS4 and a PS5, so I play video games a lot.
All us on the podcast here are Xbox guys, so
oh boy.
Yeah. So, between all of us, we're definitely playing something. So video games, anything else?
Video games. I love outdoor activities. I love doing hiking whenever I can. Unfortunately, these days, I haven't had much time in my schedule to go hiking.
Sure.
I have a Alaskan Malamute that's about 130 pounds. I want to get him out to the snow this winter and do some hiking up there. But outdoor activities and traveling. I've traveled a lot in my days. I haven't traveled as of recently, but for someone my age, I've been to a lot of places all over the world already. And traveling is one of my huge hobbies. And unfortunately, with my wrestling and work schedule, there's not much time to do traveling that I used to do.
Right. But, the more wrestling happens, the more traveling's happening. So you get both back, in return. So, all right, man, just some quick questions outside the ring here, man. Like we talked about, man, you got to pick one. All right, here we go. Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles. For sure,
you waffle guy, huh? Okay. New Day wouldn't like that,
I know they wouldn't.
Oh, Andre or Hulk Hogan?
Andre.
Yeah.
I go Andre. I feel like Andre didn't get the respect he deserved, not as much as Hulk Hogan. I feel like Andre was a crucial part to Hulk Hogan's success.
Sure.
So I want to give the respect that Andre deserves.
Love it. Are you a Skittles or an M&M's guy?
For sure, M&M's. I hate Skittles.
You're not the sweet candy, more on the chocolate?
More on the chocolate, yeah.
Nice.
Skittles are just, I don't know. It's too much.
Yeah. All right, man. Stone Cold or The Rock, man. Who would you pull for in that match in that era?
I'd probably pull for The Rock.
Yeah.
I'd probably pull for The Rock, yeah.
Nice. All right. Are we what's the better NWO, man? The Wolfpack or the Black and White?
Wolfpack.
Going
with Wolfpack.
Yeah. Smaller group anyway. Well, you've Ishmael, you just said, man, you've been all over the world, traveled everywhere. If you got one day to go hang out at one spot anywhere in the world, where's that spot going to be, brother?
Easy. New Zealand.
Easy.
I've been to New Zealand before, and I would definitely go back without hesitation.
I've actually heard that question or that answer to that question a lot, not from like wrestlers in general, but I feel like they're like, all you got to do is just go there once. You'll understand,
Yeah, I've been there. I had the opportunity to see where like Lord of the Rings was filmed, did the whole Hobbit tour, all of it. Did a lot of hiking in New Zealand. It's a very good country.
Nice. What was the last wrestling T-shirt you bought?
It was most likely. Oh, actually, it was Kofi Kingston's. I was at WrestleMania 35 when he won the WWE Championship, and I brought his T-shirt.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah, man, that was history, man. You had to get that shirt for history. So, what's for dinner tonight, man? What's Ishmael got on the plate for tonight?
That's a very good question. Honestly, it's probably going to be a combination of brown rice, broccoli, and some type of meat. I haven't decided what I'm doing. Chicken tonight, turkey patties, or whatever it is.
Yeah, getting a little bit of that carb, a little bit of that protein. That's right, man.
Still following that Nightmare Factory diet.
Yeah. Nice. All right. So, what's the ultimate dream car? You know, everybody's got a dream car, like that one car they'd like to take off in forever. What's yours?
Mine's is a Hellcat.
Yeah.
Really, I would say a Demon, but it's really hard to get your hands on a Demon these days. So I would settle for a Hellcat, but probably a Demon if I could get my hand on one.
Nice. Very
Demon
cool.
Challenger for sure.
Yeah. All right, man, let's talk about some of the things I like outside of wrestling, man. Sports. You know, are you a sports guy? Are you into sports? Who's your sports teams?
I played football in high school. I played football in college and rugby in college. And I played volleyball as well. So I'm a huge sports fan. Football mainly. But I was saying that I played football in college. I played rugby in college as well.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
I'm a huge sports fan. I played sports all my life.
Yeah.
Was a collegiate athlete at UC Davis.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Nice to hear. All right, man. Getting back to wrestling here, Ishmael. What's the dream for the rest of the wrestling career, man? Where does Ishmael want to end up? You know, do you want to be, with some of the bigger companies? Are you okay on, wrestling on the wrestling scene? What's the ultimate plan?
It is to WWE or AEW. I've had the opportunity to, in a sense, work with both companies before. I've done a WWE tryout before, so I know what they're looking for, and I know how that process kind of goes to a certain extent, having done that tryout. And then training at the Nightmare Factory in Georgia for 3 months, you have access to some AEW stars. Obviously, Cody Rhodes is one of the coaches there in QT Marshall. So you train under AEW, and I've done a WWE tryout before, and they're both amazing companies. And the ultimate goal is to eventually make it to one of those companies and be a huge influence in either company.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Looking forward to seeing you on all these promotions, man. Looking forward to seeing you on TV. And speaking of TV, Ishmael, where can anybody see you on TV right now? YouTube videos, highlights. Like, I want to make sure you get all your stuff out there and plug yourself to anybody listening to you for the first time. Where can anybody check you out or see some of your matches?
Yeah, most definitely. So if you haven't seen the Nightmare Factory Showcase number 3, Class 3, I definitely recommend checking that out because it was definitely a great showcase. Lots of talent on there. My debut match is on there, so you'll have the opportunity to watch my first match ever. And then right now in Santino Bros, we're running student showcases shows every Tuesday live. The links are always posted on the Santino Bros Wrestling Academy website. So you can always check me out on there. And then my social medias as well.
Yeah, and I have, if you're watching live, I have Ishmael's Twitter handle up front is just as his name there, Ishmael, at Ishmael Vaughn. So I meant to ask you a little bit ago, real quick, Ishmael, you watching any boxing or UFC?
I haven't watched any boxing or UFC in a while, only the highlights that I see on SportsCenter.
Sure, yeah. Thank God for those late night sports centers, man. That keeps us all in tune of what's going on in the sports world when we're busy. So, all right, Ishmael, I always ask this question to anybody and everybody on the podcast here. I didn't ask who your hero was growing up, but you can probably just kind of put it into this question here. You're sitting down with a table of 4. It's you and 3 other people. They can be in history, alive, dead, anybody in the world ever. Who's going to sit down at that table with you?
Okay, I know one for sure. It would be Martin Luther King. Always wanted to talk to him. As far as the other, that would be. It's funny you asked that question because I asked people this question too. If you can have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be? So I knew MLK would be my first answer. I guess number 3 or number 2 and 3. I guess hopefully one day I will have the opportunity to wrestle him and meet him. Like I said, John Cena. Just have the opportunity to talk to him. And then number 3, let's see, who would that be? I would say number 3 would probably be. Ooh, this is a tough one for me. I would say probably my grandfather from my mom's side. I never had the opportunity to meet my grandfather from my mom's side.
Nice. Yeah.
Before I was born. So I would say him because my mom always told me, you two are so alike and you two would love each other if you guys had the opportunity to meet.
Yeah.
So I would say him.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool, man. Very cool. Good answer to that. So, Ishmael, man, I want to thank you, first of all, for being on the Sit Down Marks podcast here today. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you for taking the time out. I look forward to seeing you more on those Nightmare Factory shows. I want to see you more on my TV, period, man. And looking forward to watching your career blossom from here, man. We wish you nothing but the best here. We want to thank you once again for being on the show. Ishmael, anything you want to say, any shout outs or anything you want to say here on the way out?
Yeah, of course. I would love to give my shout outs where they're due. First and foremost, I would love to give my shout out to my mom. I wouldn't be in the situation I am right now if it wasn't for her. I already gave a shout out to the Devon family for helping me out here in Los Angeles with my stay. And of course, my coaches and my trainers, because without them, I wouldn't know how to wrestle. And Ishmael Vaughn wouldn't be here today talking to you. So respect to Santino Bros, respect to the Nightmare Factory. I hope I go out there and do both of them proud one day.
Absolutely, man. All right, that's going to do it for us here today. I want to thank Ishmael Vaughn for being on the show. It was really fun talking to him, man. Ishmael, thanks again, man. You're really cool, man. I feel like we could talk for another probably hour. I've had a really good time talking to you today, man. I want to bring you back later on down the road. Maybe when you're headlining WrestleMania, maybe you'll come back and talk
Most
to us
definitely.
at that point.
All right. Thank you, DB. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you being on. All right, I am the Dirty Bird. That's going to do it for my interview with Ishmael Vaughn. We'll see you guys next week on the Sit Down Marks podcast.